Men.
Orioles magic, feel it happen. Orioles magic, feel it happen. O-R-I-O-L-E-S. Magic, 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 magic.
Something magic happened.
All right, folks, how you doing? Welcome in, everybody, to tonight's BirdWatcher special event. It's another in a series of retro play calls where me, your host, BW, is going to sit back with you guys and watch an old Orioles game. And as we sit back and watch and reminisce and feel some of that Oriole nostalgia, we'll be talking about the current state of the Orioles as well, what's shaking with the offseason. We've added a new starting pitcher to the mix. I'm sure you've heard about it this week. Plenty to talk about with that. Tomoyuki Sagano. I'm sure I've got that right. This this experiment of watching retro games over the off season. I'm not sure if this is. I think this might be a one and done because the turnout hasn't exactly been impressive. I'm counting 2 people here right now. 2. I think I would have better luck if I just opened up a camera staring at a mailbox. A live camera shot of my mailbox might do better than this. But hey, while I'm here, I can let you guys that were kind enough to show up to know that maybe you noticed that my image down here in the corner, hello, a little bit sharper than usual. I've got an HD camera. Now, I still haven't figured things out yet. I've purchased a new laptop as well. In fact, it's... Where is it? This is the new laptop. I just got it yesterday. I'm just starting to get it up and running. It's nowhere near ready for streaming yet. But along with the laptop, I've got an HD camera. And this camera, even though it's showing a sharper image, I'm still not broadcasting in 1080p on YouTube, which is the ultimate goal here. I think I have to use this newer computer in order to achieve that upgrade in video quality. But hey, I am looking a little bit sharper, and it's a more square image, so I fit a little bit nicer into the screen, I think. But enough about that, folks. Let's get this game started. June 9th, 1991, the Baltimore Orioles at home facing the Toronto Blue Jays on Sunday Night Baseball, June 9th. Of course, this was the early days of Sunday Night Baseball, so you've got John Miller and Joe Morgan on the call. So you've got a lot of nostalgic things happening. You're going to hear John Miller. You're going to watch Memorial Stadium in its final season. And you can bet Cal Ripken will be in the lineup. And if memory serves, our last MVP for this baseball team was Cal Ripken's 1991 season. Unfortunately, part of the asterisk with that MVP award is that I believe we finished last place that year. I think it was like maybe the second time in MVP history where the winner was playing for a last place team. So I'm going to assume here in the middle of June, where the Blue Jays had back-to-back World Series here in the early 90s and the Orioles finished last, that the standings aren't going to look so good. And Toronto's probably favored to win this ball game. I don't know who's on the mound. I don't know any of that stuff. I just listened to about 10 seconds of this to make sure that the audio and video quality was up to par. And speaking of that, before we get started, a shout out to the channel that uploaded this game, Go Sports. You can find their channel if you just YouTube search that name. It's also in my description, a direct link. So go ahead and support Go Sports. It's a pretty small channel. I've given this video its very first like. So any more would be great for Go Sports. I'm seeing some familiar names in the chat here. Chilo, Nicholas, Michael, George. Oh, speaking of binoculars, let's give away some BirdWatcher binoculars while I have the chance. This will be the final broadcast of any kind on this channel. in 2024. So I've got about 10 free memberships to give away. They will be good for a month, so they'll spread out into January for you. Whoops. I've lost control of my mouse. And I've somehow wound up on Ryan Ripken's channel by accident. Okay, can we get back here? Can I get back down here? You gonna be cool to me? How am I back here? Oh, this is me now looking at what I was looking at. Okay, this is all getting very... Okay, here we go. Where is it? Is it here? Membership gifting. All right, let's give out 5. Let's just get this all over with because, oh, God. Yeah, my cursor is already screwing up. Can't wait to get this new computer up and running. All right, so there's 5. Bartman, Scott, Dan Kosek, King Trent TV, and Damian Fowler. Welcome in. You've got some binoculars. Let's add 5 more and call it a day. What do we got? Yo, this cursor is absolute garbage. 5 more. We've got Jeremy Bear, Ronnie Hood, Pigtown Sports, Robert Prescott, and High Priest of the Church of Tea, who I think was a member at one point. All right. Let's listen to a little John Miller.
Oriole Stadium in its final season as the home of the
As you can
Baltimore
see, I've got this potted all the way up, but I don't mind that the volume is low because I'll be talking over it anyway. But just adjust your volume if necessary as we just
Tonight
listen
on
to
Sunday
John
Night
Miller for a
Baseball.
minute. Whoops. Come on, man.
The Orioles host the Toronto Blue Jays.
Here we go. Memorial Stadium, folks,
The new
33rd
star of the
Street.
baseball world. 4-time Gold Glover Tony Fernandez traded, along with slugger Fred McGriff, to San Diego for Roberto Alomar and Joe Carter. This shortly after George Bell left via free agency to the Chicago
Would you rather sign Burns or
For manager
Sasaki
Zito
if you got to
Gaston's Blue
choose?
Jays, it marked the start of
I think that's the easiest question ever. Sasaki. If you're signing Burns, you're putting up $250 million for a guy that's going to be locked into a contract into his age 38 season. Sasaki is going to cost like a couple of million. Now you're only going to have him for a couple of years until he's allowed to test the market. But yeah, give me Sasaki all day. We'll find a Burns replacement in a couple of years when we lose Sasaki. But I will say this. Hey, you're welcome, High Priest. I don't know if any of you guys caught the Sagano interview on Orioles media, but there was a Q&A, and one of the questions by one of the Baltimore reporters was whether or not Sagano had any conversation with Sasaki, I guess alluding to the possibility of luring Sasaki over here with Sagano sort of being like a mentor, which that was my immediate reaction when we picked up this guy, was like, wow, I didn't give us any chance of Sasaki looking at us, even though he did talk about going to a smaller market and maybe didn't want to be on the biggest of stages with all the pressure, maybe he'd feel more comfortable. But I was like, well, if we don't have any other Japanese players, no real infrastructure to make them comfortable, we're probably not in the running. But we did add Sagano, and maybe that could help. But I listened to the interview. They asked him, have you talked to Sasaki? And Sagano's answer was, no, I've never talked to him. So these two guys have never even talked. So, yeah, my optimism for a Sasaki swipe, I think, is going away. Anyway, let's see what's going on here.
Alomar, just 23, is quickly emerging as a true star. He leads the league with 17 doubles.
He hasn't spit on any umpires yet.
Runs in 4 of the last 5 seasons. Now he's doing it again. He leads the Jays with 10 home runs and 34 runs batted in. In Baltimore, Cal Ripken has continued to carve his niche among baseball's all-time great shortstops. A year ago, he made only 3 errors, an all-time record. But this year, he's been doing it with the bat. When May ended, he led the league with 12 home runs. Then, in the first week in June, he took over the league lead in batting. And all the while, he has been among the league leaders in RBIs. It's
He
Alomar
was
and the Jays
Triple
looking at the
Crown
Orioles
contending midway through the season. What a season for Cal. Too bad the rest of the team not so good. Let's say hi to John Miller. Come on, where are you, buddy?
This is Memorial Stadium on
And there it
33rd
is,
Street
folks.
in Baltimore. And tonight, ESPN Sunday Night Baseball features the first place
My
Toronto
first
Blue
taste
Jays
of the Orioles
against
came
the
from
Baltimore
going to
Orioles.
this here venue on
The
33rd
Boston
Street.
Red Sox lost
And there's
earlier today
there's
in
your
Oakland,
record.
and so they are
Or there's
one
your standings. Blue Jays in first, Orioles in last. I had a hunch it was going to be something like this.
game back of the first place Jays.
But
The
hey,
Jays begin play
we
tonight
could
with the
win
Orioles,
tonight.
where they're all the way
We
down
could
there
win.
at the bottom of the table. Hello, everyone. I'm John Miller, along with Joe Morgan. We're happy to have you with us. It's a hot night. It's a night for baseball here in Baltimore.
It's
And
a
the
hot
Toronto Blue
night. The
Jays
balls
the
are gonna be
first-place team in
flying.
the East. Now, that is not to say that they're playing like a first-place club. They've lost 9 of their last 14, even though they won last night, and they've been able to take advantage of the division. They feel like they need another starting pitcher. They felt that way since spring training, and a name oft mentioned.
You guys have any Memorial Stadium memories you'd
Dennis
like to share in the
Martinez.
chat?
What
I'd
do you
love
think,
to
Joe?
hear it.
Well, you're talking about one of my favorite pitchers. He's one of the best pitchers.
Mine is easy. Not to. We're gonna get into this game. Mine's easy. I was at the and I only had a handful of years at Memorial Stadium, so I feel pretty fortunate to be at this particular game. But it was the Kansas City Royals, Bo Jackson, fly ball to center field. You've probably seen the highlight before. Jackson makes a sprinting catch, like a dead sprint, probably covered 40, 50 yards, heading toward the center field wall. Caught the ball on the track, and then his momentum, he just said, you know what? Instead of crashing into this wall, I'm just going to start walking up it, walk sideways, and then just walk back down. And it was like watching some sort of like superhuman thing happen in front of my, at the time, 13-year-old eyes. It was amazing.
At second base. Joe Carter is
We have not signed Flaherty. I know we have shown some interest. I'm kind of hoping we don't sign Flaherty.
Another fine young talent is in right field. Pat Borders, the catcher, hitting 7th.
I think at this
Manuel
point,
Lee is at shortstop.
I mean, my
Glenn Allen Hill, that's 9th in left field.
my idea of how to best work with the payroll and be realistic and get 2 arms that are needed for this rotation is to sign through free agency 1 arm and trade for the other. And the best way to do it is to sign the cheaper one for the backer side of your rotation and look for the ace through the trade, because that's just going to be so much cheaper and so less time committed, or years. I'm really not a fan of committing crazy amount of years to pitchers. And I think, by the way, let's look at this Orioles lineup here again. Oh, this is actually not the lineup, just the. So Bob Melvin behind the plate, Milligan at first, the Ripkens at the keystone spots, Leo Gomez at third. I think it was Orsulak, Devereaux, and who else in the outfield? Bradley, maybe? Anyway, now I lost my train of thought. What the hell was I talking about? Oh, David Segui is in left. Okay. I miss John Miller, too. How you doing there, George? Oh, right. So, yeah, so it just makes all the sense in the world to pursue the ace through a trade. And you look at a guy like Luis Castillo, who I've been hyping as the guy to target now since, I don't know, mid-October. Now he's becoming more and more talked about, and other teams are showing interest. But, yeah, I was on top of this for a while with Castillo. Between him, Dylan Cease, Framber Valdez, and to a lesser extent, Jesus Luzardo, who at this point I don't consider to be in the running, because we really need a guy at the top of the rotation. Luzardo, not really it for me. So, yeah, there's a few guys out there. And we're going to go trade for one. And I see a lot of trade, like mock trade scenarios that have Ryan Mountcastle along with maybe like a Dylan Beavers or another Orioles prospect that is not one of the like top 5, not Kerstad, not Mayo, not Basayo, not Honeycutt, not Bradfield. Basically, those are the don't touch guys for me. If you can put together a package with Mountcastle, who's only got 2 years left on his contract. Hold on a sec, guys. I have to shut this down for a sec. That's so annoying. I can't wait to get this new computer up and running, but yeah, my cursor got stuck again. Oh, there's a beautiful panoramic shot of Memorial Stadium.
Last night, more than 45,000 people here.
Yeah, so you look at a guy like Luis Castillo, you know how much he's making. It's $24 million a year. I think that's the sweet spot. If you can get a guy that's ace-like, top of your rotation for $24 million for 3 years with a fourth-year option, perfect. It's not too many years. The money's not too much, and it doesn't tie a hand behind your back with the payroll going forward. If you sign Corbin Burns, and if anything goes wrong, who do we got? Jeff Ballard on the mound. Okay. Jeff Ballard and Devon White at the plate. We are underway here. Sunday night, June 9th, 1991. Of course, Jeff Ballard had that great 89 season. There's a called strike with a breaking ball in the outside corner. Yeah, Nicholas, it just makes all the sense in the world for Mountcastle to move on now. You know, he's still, like, entering his prime. He's still, you know, and Seattle needs offense desperately. It's a match made in heaven. I just wish we would have pulled it off sooner, because now there's other teams out there trying to put packages together to try to lure Castillo to their team. Meanwhile, we have to sit here with our sitting on our hands, watching as the Yankees try to rebuild. They're spending big after losing out on Soto. They've added Cody Bellinger. They've added Devin Williams as their closer. They've added, obviously, Max Fried. Ballard wasn't as good as his record. Jeff Ballard, you know, he had a magical 89 season with the record. But, yeah, I agree. He was not by any means a shutdown pitcher. He just, you know, it's one of those examples of, you know, a guy having a magical season. And other than 89, I don't think he put up very good numbers at all. But still, he's got his spot in Orioles history as being pretty much the ace of the 89 Why Not team. Sort of the de facto ace. Hey, there's Alomar before he joined us. And that's a generous call on the outside edge. I'm going to tell you right now, if he keeps hitting that spot, and Ballard could do all right. So speaking of guys that don't throw all too hard, look at that one. That wasn't a strike? Okay. Oh, Robbie was hot here. 14-game hitting streak. Look at that opposite field, but that's going to hang up there for Orsolak. Segui's in left field. Orsolak in right. So there it is, folks. Memorial Stadium. I do miss that setting. You know, it was so nice to have that cityscape setting with Oriole Park, but now I'm starting to get nostalgic again for just, you know, some row houses and trees in the background. That neighborhood feel. Joe Carter. Ever heard of him? Let's see if Ballard can get through this tough Blue Jay lineup 1, 2, 3 in the first. Yeah, so I want to make a point about, because I'm seeing a lot of negative feedback with the Sagano signing. You know, as soon as the news dropped, you're looking at Twitter, which is always a mistake. And you're seeing things like, who's this washed up guy? Or, you know, somebody posted like highlights of him during the 2017 World Baseball Classic where he was striking out Team America, like a little highlight package. And people are like, oh, nice 7-year-old highlight. Yeah. It's like, look, they're just trying to show you him There's not a whole lot of him pitching against major league players. Well, here's the best we got. Sorry, it was 7 years ago. But look, he's 35 years old. And there's a lot of ageists out there, man. I don't know what the deal is. It's a 1-year deal for a guy that's got a ERA lifetime in Japan of under 2.5. I think he's a 4-time Japanese equivalent of a Cy Young Award winner. He's made like 8 All-Star games. He's going to go into their Hall of Fame. And last year, in his age 34 season, made 24 starts, had an ERA of 1.76. How's that sound? I mean, add a run to that. Add a run to that. If he gives us a 2.76 ERA, even if it's just 24 starts, you'll take it. You'll take that to the bank for $13 million. Are you kidding me? So, and the other thing with Sagano is, he's one of these pitchers that, earlier in his career, he threw harder. He was able to overpower guys with his velocity along with his pitch mix. Well, now, like other great pitchers that have long careers, as he gets older, he makes adjustments, learns how to pitch more to contact, and, mix it up, pinpoint control. And the idea is to have the opposing batter just not square up the baseball, You put the ball in play, you don't hit it very hard, you get outs. And that's the idea. Speaking of getting outs, Toronto is retired here in the top of the first. We go to the bottom half. Blue Jays nothing, and the Orioles coming up to hit. Have no idea if the commercials are included here or not. The Orioles look like this. Leading off playing center field, Mike Devereaux. Joe Orsulak will be in right. Cal Ripken Jr. at shortstop batting third. The DH is Sam Horn. He will be the cleanup hitter. Third base, Leo Gomez batting fifth. David Seguiz in left field hitting sixth, switch hitter. Randy Milligan at first base batting seventh. Bob Melvin, the catcher, hitting eighth. And Billy Ripken batting ninth at second. Lovely. Yeah, so I think the Sagano signing is a stroke of genius. I think here's what's going to happen. It's going to be a boom or bust. I could see Sagano finishing the year with a top 5 ERA in the league and him looking like the biggest steal in the entire winter free agent market. Or, and we just have to be, realistic about it. He comes over and he does not throw crazy hard. He relies on, a little bit of trickery, mixing. It might not translate. It might not. He might get hit around really hard, and it probably won't take very long to figure that out. But here's the deal. It's a 1-year, $13 million contract. Yeah, it would suck if he wasn't very productive, didn't really help us out, but this is not the guy you're looking at putting at the front of your rotation. If he can just give us 100 innings and bridge us to Kyle Bradish coming back, just something, I'll take it. Plus, I'm not trying to get too deep into this, but, if you follow Japanese culture at all, there is something about self-respect and respect for the game that it can't be denied. It's felt throughout the entire sport with Japanese players. Sagano is not going to be like a Craig Kimbrell signing, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I felt like Kimbrell came to us going, my career is pretty much done. I just want to add some more saves to my total, try to build up my Hall of Fame resume. Other than that, I've been there, done that. What more do I, you know what I mean? Sagano's not going to be like that, okay? Because that would be like a disgrace. That would be, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's heavily frowned upon. He's not going to come in over here and just phone it in and collect his $13 million. You know what I'm saying? He's going to give it his all. So I can't wait to see him pitch. He's got a 6-pitch arsenal. And I think probably the pitch we're going to want to really concentrate on is his split finger. And I also think because of the fact that he's more of a low velocity guy and more of a pitcher, not a thrower, you look at these big bats that are, Devereaux draws a 1-out walk. You look at these big bats in the AL East, you know the Yankees are going to have a big lineup by the time they're done. The Red Sox are building. The Blue Jays, you know. But still, I mean, a lot of big sluggers, you know, and I feel like big sluggers, I think their best, your best weapon against guys like that are guys like Sagano, guys that don't throw like really that hard, but really work more about keeping hitters off balance. I mean, if you get squared up, you get squared up. I'm sure Sagano is going to give up some home runs, although I believe his home run per 9 is quite low. His walks per 9 is crazy low. Last year, he averaged 1 walk per 10 innings, less than 1 per 9. 16 walks in like 160 innings. That's ridiculous control. So as long as he doesn't feel too much pressure, trying to be a little too cute, if he's got that command working for him over here, I'm telling you right now, folks, this guy's going to help us. Now then. Yeah. I mean, we can't count on Wells and Bradish in terms of the timing and the effectiveness. You never want to really do that in this day and age. You just want to look at it as a bonus if you got one extra healthy arm than you need. Yeah, I wasn't. I mean, there's a reason we finished last place, Bruce. Sam Horn, you know, not my kind of a player. He can only DH. He's only trying to hit home runs. He can't run. He strikes out too much. He can't do anything in terms of, like, fundamental play. He's just up there to hit 450-foot bombs. And, yeah, he'll do it 25 times a season. But what about the other 585 plate appearances? You know? Orsolak led the O's hitters in 88 with a 288 average. You know, in this day and age, that's pretty good. But for the 80s, not so much. Usually every team had like one guy hitting 300. I think Ripken, I think they showed here, Ripken was coming into this series in June hitting 349. 4 throws to first. Nice. Smoking Joe O at the plate, folks. Devereaux at first. We're in the bottom of the first. And another check. So, yeah, Luis Castillo just seems the best fit in terms of the fact that, you know, if we got Dylan Cease, that'd be nice. Orsolak pops it up on the infield, third baseman waiting. And who's that over there? Ed Sprague. Ed Sprague. I remember him. Yeah, Dylan Cease wouldn't be a bad pickup either. In fact, you know, I would probably rate Cease better than Castillo in terms of upside and ability to dominate. But the problem with Cease is it's going to be like a Corbin Burns situation. It's a 1 year before he enters free agency situation. And while I didn't mind the Corbin Burns deal, and while I wouldn't like put up a giant stink if we did it again with Cease, I just feel like we should find an option like Castillo where we don't have to keep doing this every year. You know, maybe we can do it every few years. Hey, one check on first too many. That's what you get, pal. Devereaux takes second base on the wild throw. Stottlemyre. According to John Miller, it was just dropped by the first baseman. It was in there on the bounce, though. What are you talking about dropped? That's an error on, that's an E1.
Tabler starts after it, but as soon as he gets over there,
So Devereaux in scoring position now. And who would you rather have up at the plate than the man himself? MVP of the 91 season, Cal Ripken Jr. He takes low for ball one. Look at this stat line. Coming in, hitting .417 in his last 11 games. Bruce, everybody was... Glenn Davis was on this O's team, Bruce, but he was already injured by this game. Ripken pops it up in foul ground, first base side, and that is not what we wanted to see. Glenn Davis will go down as one of the very worst trades in the history of Major League Baseball. Steve Finley, Pete Harnisch, and Curt Schilling. All of them all-stars, many times over. You got a couple of Cy Youngs in there. I mean, Schilling wound up being a jerk and basically jerked himself out of Hall of Fame consideration, which is too bad for him. But there's no doubt that when Schilling was at the top of his game, he was one of the best pitchers there in the late 90s or so. Sam Horn. I mean, the on base ain't that bad, 331. Big cut and a miss there. Big Sam. I mean, and this is the perfect situation where you ask a guy like Sam, we don't need a home run. We got a guy at second base in a scoreless ball game. We'd love for you to just make solid contact. And Devereaux's got the speed. Just drop it into the outfield somewhere, and we got a run on the board. You don't have to swing for the fences. But Sam Horn didn't know anything about that. Yeah, the thing I'll say about the Glenn Davis trade is that I guess it evens. Oh, Horn with a hard hit ball to first base, though, and that'll be an unassisted putout. That'll end the inning. The Orioles leave a run on at second. We go to the second inning, no score. Pat Tabler, Ed Sprague, and is it Mark Whitten? Is that his name? I was going to say Glenn. I think it's Mark Whitten. Coming up for the Blue Jays. The 1991 setting sun. Let me try to pump up Miller's volume a little bit.
Tonight, always very beautiful when it does that. Here's Pat Tabler hitting cleanup with the Blue Jays. Ed Sprague.
It's not your opinion, Bruce. It's just about everybody's opinion. Schilling is an a-hole. There's it's pretty universally agreed upon.
Well, thanks for that helpful tip, because next Sunday, that's where we'll be. Exactly. I'll just head
Oh, yeah, the deal was just,
Next Sunday night, 8 p.m., Sunday Night Baseball.
The thing about being an a-hole is, like, as long as you're not the biggest a-hole in the room, it usually won't cost you, but he was the biggest a-hole in the game of his generation, and cost him a Hall of Fame spot. I fully believe that. Ballard with a high fastball.
Got beaten a couple of times this weekend by San Diego, but they still have the best record in all of Major League Baseball.
And most of their
Got
players
something in his eye there, a little eye snot.
and most of them are proven players, and they will have good seasons.
Hit hard on the ground to Ripken. That is as easy as they get.
Swinging throw to first against Tabler. One away.
Last year, Cal Ripken Jr. only made 3 errors the entire season, which is a Major League record, and he did not win a Gold Glove.
That is
The
insane.
reason is, according to the voters anyway, he doesn't cover as much ground as Ozzie Guillen does.
That's so stupid. Ozzie Guillen won the Gold Glove in 1990 over Ripken. Ripken had a Major League record of only 3 errors. Obviously, he played every game, pretty much every inning, but they're saying Guillen had more range. Did you ever consider that Cal was smart enough to set himself up positionally in the right place to where he didn't have to make 8 strides to go get a baseball? That's what made him so good defensively. He knew where to set up, so he didn't have to have that kind of range. How dare you, Major League Baseball? How dare you not recognize that?
Tony Fernandez tremendous.
Yeah, it's got to still be the
I
record.
mean, he covers a lot of ground.
It's got to. I mean, shortstop.
And he only made 8 or 9.
Gunnar made 3 errors in
Same thing happened
one
in the
game, I
National
think,
League.
last year.
Jose Oquendo set a major league record for fewest errors by a second baseman. He only made 3 the entire season. And Ryan
Mark
Sandberg
Whitten.
won the Gold Glove for defense in the National League.
Well, here is Mark Whitten, switch hitter, batting right-handed. This guy they think is going to be a star, but there's also a lot of teams
Just one for his last 18.
hiring a pitcher say, well, we'd like Mark Whitten.
That's a comebacker.
Blue Jays would not like to give him up.
Oh, watch out over there.
The Blue Jays go down quickly. Toronto has not had
All right.
runners yet.
Easy peasy, lemon squeezy.
No score after 1
What's
and a
that
half.
about Ballard being a bum?
Thank you very much, Chris Bourbon.
Listen to Rex Barney.
This is John Miller with the real Joe Morgan.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? For the Orioles,
Drove to Memorial
batting
Stadium
5th,
today, picked up the
the
Yankee
third
game
baseman,
by the radio.
number 10,
Don Mattingly,
Leo
very dramatic,
Gomez.
trailing against a left-hander brought in just to finish in, hitting 2-run. Crowd went nuts in an inning
Give
later.
that fan a contract.
People, the rookie Pat Kelly hit a 2-run homer, and the Yankees won that game. Haven't heard a roar like that at Yankee Stadium for a long time, Joe.
They are hot.
Look out.
Ball and a strike. There's Stottlemyre.
Up and in, little chin music on Gomez, who's got those
You have to pitch inside.
Jeffrey Dahmer
to be
glasses on.
effective. If you don't throw
All the
real
rage
hard,
in
you
the
have to keep the hitters honest.
late 80s, early 90s.
There's Gomez leaning out of the way.
Oh, Gomez gets into one to left. It's high. It's deep. And that ball is gone. Bye, birdie. Leo. Oh, doctor. The Orioles take the lead.
It's magic, you know. On a magic carpet ride, on a magic carpet ride. You believe in magic.
Look at Gomez get into this one.
Ball is over the middle of the and Gomez drives it right out of there.
I said,
Pretty good swing by.
folks, is there any better feeling than hitting the absolute crap out of a baseball?
The pitch, and he wasn't leaning back.
All right, David
That's not
Segui.
always the case.
Look at those glasses, man. Are you kidding me?
On your back leg. Sometimes
Looks like
you pull
Barton
you out,
Fink.
just lift it out of here, but he was in good
All right.
good balance.
Here's David Segui.
Segui. Segui had a nice long career.
Stottlemyre, the pitcher he's facing, the son of a former major leaguer. You ever face a Diego Segui?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely other trades like
Here's the 2-0
that really screwed us. Trades where we let go of guys that hadn't reached their fullest potential. We trade them away, and then they become all-stars or whatever.
Sandy's
Your
father.
Ariettas of the world or what have you.
Is this a
Tanner
subject
Scott.
for you?
Yes.
I don't know. But I think it's a tougher pill to swallow when you trade your prospects to get the big bat,
And it is 2-2.
and the big bat stinks it up while the prospects go crazy. You know what I'm like?
No, his father was a sinker ball.
The other way around's not so
Sinker,
bad.
he never got a ball above the belt. And
If we got back
Todd Field
prospects
pitches up
and we
and
traded
in
away
inside,
a guy
he throws
and none of them really
his
worked,
father.
you know.
And his ball, you know, is a lot straighter.
But yeah,
2-2 the
we
count. Segui,
basically gave up
switch hitter.
so. I mean, God, we gave up so much for Glenn Davis. How many years did Finley, Schilling, and Harnish play combined? I feel like they all had
So that'll bring up Randy
at
Milligan.
least 15 seasons. So you're looking at about 45 years worth of productive baseball, maybe 50,
Sprain of his left thumb.
versus the, I don't know, what, 2 months we got from Glenn Davis,
To go around the thumb.
who was already banged up.
Tried it in batting practice tonight, and he
Yeah,
said
the worst
again
trade.
that he
The very
preferred not
worst
to
trade.
use it.
And if we had given up just one of the 3 guys that we gave up, it would have still been in the running for worst trade. Randy
When
Milligan,
you put an extra pad or something between your hands and
the
bat,
Moose.
you don't have the same feel. You can't
No, not quite, Mr. Hyde. Not quite. And that's what I was saying. I think karma or whatever you want to call it, things evening out because, yeah, we definitely stole Frank from the Reds. That was a crazy. That's our best trade. Milligan goes to the opposite field. He looks like he got a lot of it, but it's only going to back up. Who's out there? Mark Whitten to the edge of the track. Hey, look, it's Goose Gossage. Old Yankee Stadium, so much better than their newer park. I'm sorry. Stupid Yankees winning late.
Thanks, Chris. We were hoping to see that after we'd heard John Sterling and his partner Joe Angel broadcast that on the radio as we drove over here today.
Yeah, Sammy Sosa, I haven't really looked into the full story, but all I do know, George, is that he publicly apologized specifically to the Cubs organization, and apparently the Cubs are ready to welcome back in and like be a part of, you know, Cubs get-togethers and events and what have you, which I think is good. I think that's great. I mean, I'm not going to hold any one player's feet over the fire for doping during that era when so many people were doing it. It's just, it's not fair. So if you come out and you apologize, you show a little bit of humility, come on back in. We'll let you back. We'll welcome you back. Sosa was a fun guy to watch. I don't care what anybody says. He definitely brought a lot of life to the game. It's just, you know, it's just one of those things, man. We just, you wish baseball would have intervened a little sooner. When he knew damn well they knew that everybody was doping. And when I say everybody, you know I don't mean everybody, but. You think Adam Jones, Chris Tillman trade with the Mariners worked out amazingly well? Yeah, that's true, and Bedard didn't really do much the other way. And I was afraid of that trade. I remember, I'm like, oh no, we're giving away Bedard. He's just developed into like the best lefty in the league. But yeah, that worked out. Holy cow, look at Pat Borders' April average. He's made up for it in May and June. Opposite field, down into the corner. Looks like it's going to go foul, and it will. 98, the home run race. Yeah, I think we got George Sherrill trade. Came to us in that trade too. For Bedard. Yeah, I vaguely remember that name.
Truth to the notion that being a catcher gives you a leg up and being a good manager. I don't know about giving you a good manager, it gives you a better
Johnny Oates.
pitching staff. It gives you a chance to understand the pitching staff.
Rumor has it he's been seen with D.L. Hall as they attempt a Hall and Oates reunion. Sorry. That's right. The humor needs some spring training, too. Here's a fly ball to right. Orsolak waits. He's got it.
Coming up Wednesday on ESPN, the baseball
2 down.
It will be the Los Angeles Dodgers. Juan Samuel having a great start. And those Pittsburgh
What are you checking out there? Oh, to see who was in the Bedard trade? Oh, it's okay, man.
330 for the Dodgers. And of course, they've got Eddie Murray and Cal Daniels.
I can't go for that. No, no can do. I mean, folks, take a look back here, man. You get a seat like over here. You know, you're hitting the pipe. Yeah, you're getting a little stoned. Maybe you snuck in a little something, a little bottle of something. Have a cigarette. Who cares? Speaking of which, it's time to mark this occasion. Manuel Lee. How is that a strike? Holy cow. I mean, I know it broke down. Dude, you're calling that a strike? I mean, I guess if you're saying it hit the plate right there, then it is at the knees. Tough call. Good pitch, either way.
The 8th place hitter, another Toronto.
Yeah, Arrieta is one of those examples of like, man, if we just held on to him for a little bit longer, we would have gotten. Didn't he win a Cy Young like his first or second season with the Cubs? That's a little bit off the plate.
Comes in for the Caribbean, and they sort of Americanize his name.
It just seems like with pitchers more than anything, we tend to lose them and watch them get better with somebody else, and that really sticks in my craw.
I like being called Manuel. That's my name.
I wonder if Manny Trio's name was Manuel.
Probably was.
But he never complained. All he did was hit and play good defense.
All right, Ballard, what do you got? Nice. He went around.
The second baseman. You'll ever see.
What? He went around. He basically fell over trying to swing.
3-1.
Get out of here.
Why don't you wake up and smell what you shoveling?
He, like the other right
Why don't you wake up and smell what you shoveling?
hitters in the lineup are better hitters from the right side.
Out of play.
That one's fouled back.
3-2.
Alomar, Devon White.
I got Rock Kabatko's Twitter open.
Average-wise.
Oh, that's right. Matt Bowman. Didn't mention this yet on this stream, but welcome back to the team, Matt Bowman.
He had a rib cage injury.
Minor league deal, MLB camp invite, $1.1 million with $400K in incentives. Yes, I do believe Greg Olson's still the closer in
If you have a
91.
rib injury or something wrong with your back, it hurts more when you swing and miss.
Unfortunately, we finished last place, so he didn't have a whole lot of opportunities. Here's Orsolak with a
But he was able to
catch
stay with
down on his knees.
Duck under the plane of the lights to make the catch. There's John Oates again. We were talking about Oates.
All right, I need a lucky.
And the little changes he's made. And there's what
I mean, you know I'm a
Orioles
lucky
have
strike
done
man
under
from
Robinson. You see that 5
way back.
3 runs allowed per game that he
So this
allowed.
is just
Since Oates
the
has
17th game Oates managed after Frank Robinson got fired.
gone way down.
What is that, 37 games into
All
this
of the
season.
teams that have changed managers actually have a better record than the other managers did, except here, I guess. I mean, they were over 500.
ERA went down quickly
Well, when Oates
by a
came
run
in,
and a half.
proceeded immediately
Kind of a
to
small
lose 4
sample
straight
size,
games.
though.
This is the Glenn Allen Hill to Orsolak.
Joe Orsolak having a busy night out there in right field, makes the catch. And how about 3 no-hit innings from Jeff Ballard?
Nothing Baltimore after 2 and
9-1 and 2 due up for the Orioles.
Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, where you played.
And there's the man himself, John Miller.
Well, I had a great time here. I was always looking forward to playing here in Baltimore because they had such great tradition. They'd won a lot of great pennants here, and they had a lot of great defensive.
Yeah, I don't get to
defense,
check
something
Greg
I like to
Olson
watch.
much out with his broadcast or his TV stuff, but
You won't let me forget that, will you?
Philadelphia.
from
You
what I
won
have
the first
seen,
game, I remember that.
Yeah,
Good
it
guy
was
to have
the first
around.
game. That was the only game we won. The O's were lucky.
I didn't remember.
and we got Billy up.
Here is Bill Ripken, second baseman. Ball 1. John Stottlemyre. But it was interesting. I remember you telling me about. some of the
That looks like a Bill Ripken stat line. 222, no homers, 8 RBI.
Ball outside Tiger Stadium. But you picked this one as a place you had wanted to. You look forward to playing in.
Well, I remember watching the World Series and watching Jim Palmer, watching Frank Robinson.
Hey, Andre,
all the great players
Andres, I'm
playing
glad it
in
does.
the
Yeah,
World
this is the final season at Memorial Stadium, and down the left field line. That's a fair ball.
Glenn Allen Hill has to
And chugging into second base with a stand-up double is Billy Ripken, folks. Billy. Oh, Billy.
Given Ripken a lot of
Where's my,
in this whole series, and last night he
let's
hit a ball
splash it up
inside the
here.
line like this.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Line, as you can see, and they've been
Billy
playing that
on.
way the entire series. And last night he hit a ball right over the bag like that.
I don't mess with
got off to a
Bill.
real slow start this year. Then he had problems with a disc.
I'm not sure if Johnny Oates ever made it to the show.
I'm not sure what that means, but it doesn't sound
I think it
good.
was
Well,
kind of an
it sounds
Earl
like
Weaver
the,
type.
Blue Jays have a herniation in their computer system.
If he did, it was
The way
a
they're
short-lived
playing him. I mean, they're
run.
playing him way off the line, and the guy's constantly pulling the ball down the
That
line.
would be a floppy disc herniation.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
Okay, a floppy disk.
Ripken takes his lead off second. Devereaux at the plate. Stottlemyre with a big old hook for a called strike.
First time. 1-0 Baltimore ahead in the last of the third.
Pat Gillick
this situation,
Pretty
Devereaux
sure?
should make sure he gets the ball to the right side. It doesn't mean a ground ball, but at least hit the ball in the air that way.
Like he tried to.
Yes, or get a base.
Either
hit.
right
You have to
before he
get
joined the
shot
Blue
right
Jays or right out, maybe
No one
Gillick's.
out and a runner at second base.
I'm
It's been a close
50-50.
ball
I
game.
think it's Pat
The
Gillick.
Orioles are not a team that's going to blow you out.
I think if you Google Orioles 1991 GM, it'll spit out the answer real quick.
That has been one of the problems with their offense. They have not been able to so-called manufacture
2 strikes
runs.
on Devereaux. There's nobody out.
They don't run real well.
If he can, try to get that ball to the right side.
Play for the big inning. That's a foul straight back.
Get Ripken over to
That
third.
was a sidearm breaking ball from Stottlemyre.
Speaking of moving the runner over, hey, 2025 Orioles, take note. There is part of a game that's called moving the runner. Let's embrace it a little bit more than last year, okay? Fouled away by Devereaux.
Not a very good combination.
No.
Yeah, Mr. Hyde, that sounds about right.
Devereaux was just fighting that ball off. I don't know if he was trying to go to right field or not. He was just fighting that one off.
Always trying to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
He's a team man, Joe. Even if it was right toward his
I was a
nose, he
scrub
tried to
catcher
go right with it, I
in high school. Hit on the ground, and that's not the side of the infield you want to hit it. And Devereaux will be retired with Billy Ripken stuck at second base. Damn it.
Familiar lament in this
Damn it.
season
Janet.
of discontent.
That was not a good, productive out. It's going to be up to Smokin' Joe O.
53 games have hit 53
And pick up
home runs, even without the
Devereaux.
big slugger Glenn Davis in the lineup.
I need a smoke. Hold on. Speaking of
But when
smoke,
they don't hit home runs, they have a terrible time scoring.
Well, you mentioned they do not have a lot of team speed. The way the game is now, you have to add some speed to your lineup in order to be a successful team over 162 ball games. If you can't manufacture some runs by stealing bases, hitting and running, moving the runners along, you're just not going to score a lot of runs. Pitching now is set up so that they can go to your weaknesses, and because the defenses can set themselves so well, it's awfully tough just to go out and hit, and hit the ball out of the ballpark and get a lot of base hits. They're playing around to full.
One strike to Orsolak. He popped to third his first time. It's foul down the left field line. 0-2 the count. 1-0. Baltimore ahead on the home run by Gomez, which was the team.
all right, Orsolak, what do we got?
Orsolak in a terrible slump.
Can you guys see a difference in my little video box? That I look a little bit crisper, a little bit sharper than before?
This time last year,
Can you see a difference? I hope so. I paid for a difference. Orsolak's gonna not quite dump it into left center.
and still at second.
Fernandez makes the catch.
Now 2 down, and his big brother Cal is coming up.
It's gonna be up to Cal.
The brothers
Come on,
Ripken,
folks.
and, of course, the father is
All right,
the third base
Nicholas,
coach.
that's good to hear.
And at one time he was the manager. One big Ripken family in this ballpark. What do you think, Joe?
Charge!
Steinbeck novel. There could be some little hidden things.
Come on,
that
Cal.
Create problems with brothers on a ballpark.
Damn it.
Stottlemyre.
That's not gonna do it.
So,
A leadoff double by Billy Ripken goes to nothing. We go to the fourth, 1-0 Baltimore. Plenty of seats in the upper deck.
The Orioles, the hometown team, won, and the Blue Jays nothing. Next Sunday night, 8 o'clock Eastern, 5 o'clock Pacific, 2 o'clock Hawaiian, 7 o'clock.
So, folks, here's the deal. How many people are here right now? 9?
I think that pretty well covers it.
Yeah, guys.
Sunday night baseball from San Francisco and the Pittsburgh Pirates. Bonds and
Hey, how was
Tony,
the actual video coming in? Because I did make a change, and now I'm getting a message telling me that I should
Again, although the Giants won in St. Louis, there's a curveball.
I should
Devon White, ball one from Jeff
adjust this. But yeah, apparently right now there are 7 people watching. I think I might have to make this the last retro game, guys. I mean, it's
He's a gamer.
It turned out he played
I've done 3 of them, and the turnout went from small to very small to I could fit my crowd into an IHOP booth.
and forget about it.
That ball's gonna
He
go.
just watches it go. A booming home run for
Devon White just tied up the ball game with a shot to left. 1-1.
Cito Gaston before the ball game about the new additions to his ball club, Devon White, Alomar, Carter. He said these
I can
guys
only
have been
cross my
fantastic. He
fingers
said Devon
that
White
this
has played
off-season
great
attempt at,
field, and he's been just a
providing
real good
some
guy
content
at
for
the
this
ball club.
channel
Cito is just
being
really happy to have him.
extremely unsuccessful is not going to mean that when I begin covering games in the regular season in 2025 that suddenly the thousands of views I was getting per game is going to suddenly dip down to
Which is unbelievable.
100 or something. Like,
Trying to get a ball, and you just wish you could get a
Ugh.
baseball from the major league.
was 91 the Twins or was 90 the Twins? I think the Twins were 90 and then Blue Jays won 91, 92. Is that right?
Bleachers out there that would love to have.
I might be wrong about that. But the Blue Jays were back to back, right?
The north side, that's a ball. 1 strike. It started out at Wrigley Field, right?
Yeah, Nicholas, I'm sure, more people are looking up Oriole content during the season, but I mean, I've got
A ball and 2 strikes.
2,000 plus subscribers.
Players for Toronto.
I'm not even getting like 2% of that audience to show up for this,
The ultimate team player, according to Cito.
Not complaining. I can't, nothing I can really do about it.
Job for the team. He said he gives himself up for the team. He just does whatever is necessary to help the team win.
Alomar with a big cut and a miss.
Strikes this time.
Grab some pine, Robbie.
That's the first strikeout for Ballard. We're in the top
First
of the fourth
strikeout for
ESPN
Ballard.
Sunday Night Baseball. Memorial Stadium in Baltimore is our venue. The first place, Toronto Blue Jays won, and the Orioles won. Top of the fourth, the teams have exchanged home runs up till now. As Joe Carter gets ready to bat. Leo
Joe
Gomez,
Carter.
the Orioles rookie, hit his first ever home run back in the second.
Probably the most famous World Series home run.
Did one here in the fourth.
I guess you could say Mazarowski and
Fouled the first, his first
I mean, Maz beat the Yanks with the walk. I put Maz up there first, but
that has never made an all-star team.
that was in black and white. You've only got like that
Guy's driven
one
100 runs 4 out of the last 5 years.
angle with that like
An average
slow-mo
24
view.
home runs a year, but he has never been selected
Joe
for
Carter, you
the
get the whole
All-Star
big
team.
celebration and everything.
Well, he went to San Diego and he did not,
Off Mitch Williams, right?
but he drove in 115.
There's a ground ball past the diving glove of Bill Ripken in the right center field for a base hit.
And Carter is aboard. He's hitting for average this year. He's
Yeah, Nicholas, and I think that's what I'm going to do going forward. Instead of advertising these retro games, I'm just going to come up with a topic, an Orioles topic, and do like a podcast
To a new league.
type of
But he
thing.
was also producing runs for
Because
the
I
Yankees,
noticed
driving
I got
runs
more
for
views on that
Baltimore.
too. They weren't many views, but they were
Carter's
more.
away with it. Good piece of hitting by Joe Carter. You can see that he's going to right field all the way, and he smashes it past Ripken.
That's the approach you'd expect from a guy hitting 290.
I met somebody that might be able to really help me grow the channel a couple of days ago when I went out and
You don't pull off.
got this computer. There's a young Thai man in his 20s who's very much
Grounded to short his first time.
Uh,
And he takes a strike on 1.
what's the word I'm looking for? He's well informed what everything that goes into doing live streaming, doing a YouTube channel.
They tried to make him a second baseman.
We got to talking a lot. We're actually going to meet up tomorrow.
He's not had a position his entire
I'm going to
career.
go out and treat him to lunch and
Ball strike.
go over some stuff. And yeah, he sounds very interested in helping get me set up with the new computer and
That's about it.
new software.
Bad, but he does not.
He uses OBS, which is what I use right now. So yeah, we've got a lot in common, and
Free agent.
he knows a lot more than me.
With the Mets.
I told him I would compensate him justly,
Good man in a pinch. He leads
and
the
I
bench
will,
hitting
because
4 for 10.
I need the help.
Set a phenomenal
I don't know what the hell I'm
record
doing.
Hitting with the bases loaded, which is, like unbelievable.
All right,
But that tells me that he's a smart hitter. He realizes
Joe
that if
Carter
he's
takes
gonna
his
get
lead
pitch
from
to hit,
first. Ballard with a pitch inside.
He's hit 500 in his career.
Am I hearing an Oriole chant in the background?
Oh, you call that phenomenal?
Yeah, 41 for 82.
That's not phenomenal.
Yeah, we're not
ridiculous.
We're not talking about 5 for 10 or 10 for 20.
That's right.
41 for 82.
Here's a ball that's fouled off to the right. I'll tell you one thing that I'm a little nervous about, and that is the streak, the BW streak. 162 out of 162 games called last year, and in 2025, I've got the very bad feeling that I'm not going to be able to do that again because of having to do some traveling in the middle of the season for a few days. This ball's caught by Devereaux. Carter stays at first. So yeah, sometime in August 2025, I've got to renew my visa, and it's going to involve me taking another trip. I was able to figure out a way to do it this past season, scheduling it during an Orioles off day, and then they had a late game out on the West Coast the following night. So I had like a 36-hour break where I was able to get all that done, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that again. But I'll put it this way, it'll probably be about 100 games into the season at least. So if all goes well, I'll have at least 250 straight games called. Joe Carter looking to steal, and he is out. Joe. That's a no-no, Joe. Bob Melvin has thrown you out. 1-1 ball game going to the bottom of the fourth.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Bud satisfies completely, and by Wheaties.
Brought to you by Wheaties.
Better eat your Wheaties.
Breakfast of runner-ups.
Famed inner harbor of Baltimore, a great tourist area and a beautiful part of the city. 12 years ago, it was a place you would never.
Hey, look, Sam Horn with a giant home run swing.
They got it done down there, and now it's quite a show place down in the inner harbor. Here's Sam Horn. Grounded out his first time to the first baseman. Horn averaging 1 home run for every 12 at-bats this year. His last 8 base
Well-placed fastball, belt high outside edge.
On the other hand, in 108 at-bats this year, he has struck out 40 times. And the count is 0-2. Stachelmeyer.
Oof.
1-2 to count. Big Sam, he got some pretty numbers. 9 home
Harbor
runs.
Place is dead now. Yeah, it didn't look too alive when they were showing it on screen. It looked pretty dark over there.
2-2.
2-2 to Sam Horn, leading it off here in the bottom of the fourth, 1-1 ball game. Hi, if you happen to just be tuning into my channel out of nowhere, this is the Orioles BirdWatcher channel dedicated to covering live Orioles baseball during the regular season and postseason, spring training as well. Hey, if there's a game that's being broadcast, I'm going to be here to give you the play-by-play. But it's the off-season, and we are watching a retro game from 1991, Orioles Blue Jays.
3-2 pitch is fouled away off to the left.
Full count on Horn, who needs a new bat.
The play that ended the inning for the Blue Jays last inning was Carter being thrown out at second. He got an excellent jump. It's just a bad slide because he should have been in there. He's hit right on the knee just before he touches the bag. Nice tag by Billy Ripken. But if Carter would have slid to the inside, he would have been safe.
Take your time, Sam.
It's one of the lost.
No pitch clock or anything.
Steal a base. Most guys go straight in. Maury Wills, who was one of the great base stealers of all time, he slid to the outside if the throw was on the inside. If the throw was on the outside, he slid to the inside, and he avoided many a tag that way.
And Horn draws a walk.
Last foul ball ends up getting a walk after starting at 0-2.
2025. Folks, can you believe this century is a quarter of the way over?
The high wall that goes out behind the lower fence, the home run fence. When this ballpark first opened, you had to hit it into those bleachers to get a home run. Where it says 376 there, At that time, to hit one out of the ballpark into the bleachers, 420 feet. It was the toughest home run ballpark in the majors. Here's Leo Gomez, who homered his first.
Leo Gomez
And the hometown
crushed a home run his last
first
time
year,
up.
The Orioles hit 19 homers the whole season in their own ballpark. The man who led the club, Vern Stevens, hit 8, home and away. Gomez has been hot since being called up. 2-0.
Kind of similar to the park.
All right, leadoff man on, 2-0 count.
Candlestick Park. They've got a fence, inner fence. They had it after the first year. But the first
He might
year
have
they
still
opened
been
up,
a
they did the
technical
ball all the
rookie,
way
but
into the
I think his first
and even the
cup of
great,
coffee
great
was the
Willie
season
Mays,
before.
those guys had problems
I'm not
getting
100% on that, Michael.
Oh, Mays only hit 29 that year.
Yeah, only. You're right.
Yeah, Nicholas, I am a little bit too. I liked having that.
On strike at the inside. 2-1.
Well, Stoudemire
I liked having that
inside Gomez. He wanted to
unique
pitch
feature
inside
to our
start with.
ballpark.
And he threw a couple of pitches inside, and then he set up out. Then the catcher set up outside, and he threw the ball in the middle of the plate. So he wants to stay in tight on Gomez. That must be the book that they want to.
And we can't call it Baltimore anymore. I mean, what the hell do we call it?
Popped him up.
Now it's just left field. Who wants this one?
Right fielder Witten calls the ball.
Witten with the catch.
And he got the ball back inside.
There
And
you see-
Gomez popped it up.
Excuse me, Joe. There you see the wind blowing out a little bit tonight. Now, out in that area where those temporary bleachers are, it's 405 feet to straightaway center. In the old days here, there was a hedge at 400.
Mr. Hyde, according to Mike Elias, they felt like when they moved it back, they overcorrected. They wanted to move it back and make it more fair because I think the Orioles,
And a guy named Chuck
that
Deering
Camden Yards was
caught it and fell
giving
right
up
into the
like the
hedge.
second most home runs on average, like a season. And I think they felt like pitchers weren't willing to sign for a team like that because of how easy it was. And yeah, I think they said, well, we're going to start drafting some left-handed hitters and focus on guys going after right field. And we'll try and isolate some of the damage done by the right-handed batters on the opposing team. And yeah, even though the stats say that the Orioles lost more home runs than their opponent by the wall, we still hit a lot of home runs. And if you've got a good plus outfield, I think Colton Cowser really got robbed for a Gold Glove. I'm less upset that he missed out on the Rookie of the Year, even though that does really help us more because that would have given us a draft pick. I really feel like he got burned on a Gold Glove. He was great out there in left field, which was pretty much like center field in any other ballpark.
Stoudemire to Milligan, and the curveball in there for a strike. Milligan flying to right. His
Yeah, they're changing it again. Like I said, they're saying that they feel like they corrected, overcompensated, and they're not putting the wall back to its original spot. It's going to be a little bit deeper than it was before the first change. But yeah, they're lowering the height of the wall and they're pushing it in,
gigantic fella, worked hard
but
to
not all the way in.
down. A lot of workouts, worked with weights.
Ooh, tough strike call there on the outside.
Flattered, I'm sure, by the attention.
He may just take off now.
The horn of plenty. Plenty of strikeouts.
On the left field wall.
Plenty of home run power in 1991. Inside.
Check swing by Milligan.
Milligan and Horn grew up in the same area in Southern California. And there was a time when they felt there was
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out. Runner at first, tie ball game.
monstrous home runs.
And a big cut and a miss. Foul tip held by the catcher. Inning over. We go to the 5th, tied at 1.
It's down here. First strikeout for Stoudemire. 1 man left. 1-1 tie of the 5th in Baltimore. Thank
It's
you.
nice. None of the commercials in there. You jump right back into the action. Here we are in the 5th. And backing up is Gomez on a 1-hopper. Nice strong throw to first in time.
pitcher who came up
Solid
with
defensive play by Gomez.
Played in Oakland and was a teammate of yours for a while.
A bit of a part, Mr. Hyde. A bit of a part. I mean, probably made signing him faster. O'Neill did mention that he didn't say it like, they moved the wall in and now I'm wanting to sign. He was like, it's nice that they did that. But if you look at Tyler O'Neill, when he gets a hold of one, he's the kind of right-handed power bat that can absolutely clear Baltimore. I mean, he would probably lose a few home runs. But if you remember the couple of times he homered off of us, I mean, they were absolute moonshots, including a walk-off at Fenway that cleared the monster by... That wall could have been 20 feet taller. Base hit for Mark Whitten here to lead off the fifth.
Mark Whitten. The first time up, he just swing off balance and try to pull the ball. And this is
Michael, I mean, honestly, I think more than the players we're bringing in or the players that we're losing, what's really going to be the deciding factor in whether or not the Orioles are going to be more like the 101-win team from 2 years ago versus the 91 team from last year is just fixing whatever happened in the second half last year with the entire offense, because there's no doubt about it. Something with the philosophy. Long run and Segui. Look at that basket sliding catch. Nice play out there. And a nice round of applause from the Oriole fans. But yeah, I mean, something clearly mechanically was like a disease up and down the lineup. And I really do feel like the way Adley Rutschman goes, the team goes. Adley Rutschman, that's the biggest thing. He's got to get it going. He's got to get back into his... top catcher in the league's status that he should be having.
A lot of years for a lot of teams. As Ballard faces Manuel Lee.
Where is it, Melvin? Oh, there goes the runner, and that's going to be a late throw. Bob Melvin couldn't find the baseball.
Get away from Melvin very far, but he knew that Melvin did not know where it was, and he took off immediately on the wild pitch, and he's safe.
Yeah, I would love to invest some money into the bullpen. Like, if we're not going to be signing Burns, and we're going to go out and make some shrewd deals like Sagano for $13 million, if we trade for another, it feels, and if we trade Mountcastle away and we get Castillo, yes, Castillo is $24 million against the payroll, but Mountcastle I think is getting paid what, like $8 million through arbitration. 7 or 8 million, I want to say. So that comes off the books. So it's more like 16, 17 million for Castillo.
Maybe that's what happens.
Yeah, I just think, and yeah, I just think the money should be there to go get like a really good bullpen arm, like a Tanner Scott, who's just still sitting out there. Imagine a lefty-righty late-inning combo of Scott and Bautista. And the thing is, if we don't get a guy like Scott, a team like the Yankees or the Red Sox will. And then we'd have to be putting up with him instead of benefiting from him. I know it's a lot of money for a bullpen arm, but I think I put more emphasis in a top-tier bullpen arm than maybe the average person does. There's a base hit. That should score the run. And the Blue Jays are going to take a lead here. Nice. Oh, hit the cutoff man, but it looked like a good throw from Segui. 2-1 Blue Jays in the top of the fifth. Is there anybody out yet? Jeff Ballard's starting to get hit around. Hey, I just saw John Olerud in the dugout. Is he not playing in the game? And if so, why not? He's usually in the lineup. Yeah, Olerud's not in the lineup. I guess because of the lefty Ballard, but Olerud usually doesn't just sit because there's a lefty on the mound. Maybe he's banged up.
Part of the rumor about the proposed deal, the expos for Dennis Martinez. It said one possible deal could have Pat Borders, the catcher. pitcher Dennis Boucher now in the minor leagues, but a French Canadian.
That's what I'm saying. You can't have enough good arms to battle these lineups in our division. And last thing you want to see is games where, you know, we get a decent start. We've got a lead going into the 6th, 7th inning, and then our bullpen can't get it done for us, you know. Good bullpen arms shorten games. They shorten games. They limit the opportunities for the opponent to come back. And I think that's worth the money that they're asking for.
Mark Whitten, he's only 24 years of age.
I mean, if it's 1991 and you're talking about something equivalent, I'd say no, that's too much to pay because it's a different game back then. Starters could go 7-8 innings. One dominant bullpen arm might have been enough. But then you think about a team like the 1990 Reds. That had the Nasty Boys, right? You had Rob Dibble. Was it Randy Myers and third guy? Norm Charlton? Was that the three? It's nice to have a bullpen where basically you get to the 7th inning and it's like shutdown city. And I don't know how effective Yenier Cano is going to be this coming season. The organization seems to believe Gregory Soto is a guy that, with just a slight tweak, could be a dominant lefty in the bullpen for us, but, you know, I'll believe it when I see it. We've got some decent arms in there, like Keegan Aiken, but, again, not really overpowering, but for a lower leverage lefty arm, that's fine.
Basically what you're saying is he got a little bit too excited out there on
But, yeah, we've already lost Coulombe and Jacob Webb. We need some arms in the bullpen. Swing and a miss. Stottlemyre with the strikeout.
If things weren't going well, he might just try and rear back and throw one by you. Didn't always use his head out there.
Well, after going inside,
I don't think anybody's picked up Coulombe yet, though, right?
If you pitch a guy inside, he can't look for that pitch out away from him.
Coulombe's still available?
Watch how he looks away from the plate just before he throws.
Billy Ripken hit a double his first time up.
Looking down at the ground.
45, 45, and 96. What's that? Oh, for saves? Like saved 45 out of 45?
The Toronto Blue Jays lead the Orioles in the last of the 5th. Bill Ripken, the 9th place hitter in the Orioles lineup.
Yeah, that might be right. I can't remember, Michael, to be honest. But I can believe it. Hey, we've got some basketball scores from 1991 coming in. And Andre Agassi just lost.
The Orioles have not been able to do anything except go one base at a time in this one.
The Expos lost to the Braves.
Devereaux, the leadoff hitter, is on deck. That's foul off to the right.
This out-of-town scoreboard brought to you by Rolaids. Rolaids. Spells relief. I tried that. I was in a spelling bee, and the word was relief, and I said ROLAIDS, and I lost. They said that is incorrect, and I said no. There's a commercial. I have evidence. Rolaids spells relief. I did not win my appeal.
Ripken looking for a breaking ball. Ripken hit a fastball down the left field line last time up.
So Billy Ripken strikes out.
Stottlemyre fires a fastball right on the outside corner. Good pitch. Stottlemyre and his reaction. Not much of a reaction.
Oh, look out.
Definitely not looking overexcited to me, Joe.
Right.
Here's Devereaux. He's walked, and he's grounded to third.
I think so.
2-1 Toronto.
French Open results. I can't remember what month Wimbledon is. I feel like Wimbledon is first, right? Isn't it more like May for Wimbledon? I could be wrong.
From the Joaquin Andujar school of showing your emotions after you get a strikeout.
Ground ball to third. Is that Sprague?
He's got a pretty good arm from third base.
Sprague with the throw to first, and this inning is over.
3 down. Blue Jays at the top of the order coming up.
Sixth inning coming up. The Blue Jays lead at 2-1. A Chuck Finley highlight. Oh, there's a Tiger batter who's not happy. Chuck Finley becomes the first 10-game winner in the league on this date, June 9th, 1991. Ballard out there for his sixth inning of work. He has given up runs in the previous 2 innings. And one of those 2 hits was a home run by the guy up right now at the plate, Devon White.
Devon White, things were going so bad for him that by last year the Angels sent him back to the minor leagues. Each year his average had fallen, and I mean fallen precipitously. You see it ended up 217 last year.
He was a great glove, man, Devon White. He could get it.
Of scenery, he goes to Canada with the Blue Jays, and it seems to be much more congenial.
Especially playing there at Sky Dome when they had that crazy turf, you know, when if a ball was dropping into the outfield, you had to sit there and, like, you know, position yourself like 20 feet behind where it was going to land so that it wouldn't bounce over your head. It really was like a whole different kind of fielding, like, talent you needed to play in a venue like that. Hey, the Bulls beat the Lakers. They now lead 3-1 in the NBA Finals. Some nobody named Michael Jordan with a big game, I'm sure.
97 and the Lakers 82. Here at Memorial Stadium.
Oh, Michael, the Agassi score they posted, it said French Open, so it was the French.
2-1. We're in the top of the 6th inning, and Roberto Alomar is the hitter.
I thought if you were just asking if Wimbledon was around the same time, but on this date, it was the French Open. Oh, that might have been lucky for us. Alomar fouling that pitch off. Devon White looked to have a base stolen there.
Instead of the second baseman, you figure with a right-handed hitter up like Alomar that he might take the ball to right field if they try hit and run. So Cal Ripken Jr. was covering instead of his brother Billy. And,
wow.
That's Cal's call to make.
Right.
Just wow. Debut of a new camera and everything. Oh my goodness, folks. Do I have a right to feel a little bit worried about the future of this channel? Are Friday nights a bad night for this sort? I don't know what it is. Is it the holidays? I don't know. Are people just not interested in this concept? Oh, I thought there was many Oriole fans like me out there who just can't get enough and love to watch old school baseball as well. Alomar strokes one in the left. And it's weird watching a game from the 90s and calling it old school, but I mean, it is at this point.
That extends his hitting streak to 15 ball games. And last night he had stolen 4 bases in the ball game. He stole second and third twice.
This is what, 33 years later? So that would be the equivalent of watching a game in 1958 if it were 1991. We would have called that old school.
And he did so, and they won the ball game. So
Joe Carter. He's got 2 men on. I don't think anybody's out yet. Blue Jays already up by a run now, and we're getting late into the ball game here. Mark Williamson getting loose. Here's Elrod doing his thing. Just 2 hits for Baltimore. The Ripken double and the Gomez home run. That's it. Bill Ripken double, that is. And that's a base hit, and Segui's going to have to charge it. A run's going to score. Throw to second, and they've got that runner picked off. Smart play by Segui. Alomar caught off the bases. Very, very heads-up play by Segui. That runner was going to score
Alomar makes
for
a mistake,
sure.
but there was
Segui
no
had a
chance
really
to
good
get
arm.
Devon White because of his speed.
That first throw it to home
And
previously, it never made it there. It hit the cutoff man, but look at that, man. That was a seed.
And you can see that Alomar is
He threw a
dead
seed
by
to
a long
second
way.
base.
Pretty heady play by Segui.
Yeah, we've got a couple of new hitting coaches, Michael.
He's not ordinarily.
And then it's Cody Ashey, who's like the head coach, head batting coach. And I'm sleeping on the name of the other guy, who's sort of like the assistant.
But what Alomar was looking for was Segui to throw the ball to the plate and miss the cutoff man, so he could continue on around to third.
So yeah, there's going to be a lot of our team's success is going to be on the shoulders of Cody Ashey to try to get this off. I mean, there's so much talent on our team right now. There really is. Talent that hasn't even reached its potential. Pat Tabler might find something. Oh, Segui chases it down. David Segui playing a hell of a left field. But yeah, I mean, you look at our team. I mean, Adley's what, 26? O'Hearn, I guess he's probably the biggest veteran, but Mayo may wind up doing some platooning there. He's young. Holiday's 20. Gunner's what, 23? Westberg's like 24. Kowser's like 24. Kerstad, if he gets any kind of play. I mean, O'Neill is only like 27, 28, I think. Or maybe 28. Tyler O'Neill. He might be 29. He's definitely not 30 yet. So basically, we've got like one 30-year-old in the entire lineup.
And Ed Sprague Sr. sitting out in Northern California as Ed Sprague Jr. comes to the plate. Cal Ripken
You know,
Sr.
on days where like Gary Sanchez isn't catching or something. This ball's hit into the right field corner, slicing foul.
Not sure who it is.
What is today? Is today Father's Day or something?
Seems like it.
Oh, okay.
Well, next week is Father's Day.
Next
But yeah, if we can get a package together with Mountcastle and I think Dylan Beavers, who's our number 6 prospect, I just don't see really a path for him. I look at Dylan Beavers sort of the way I looked at Kyle Stowers the past couple of years, which is, you know, a prospect, but not one of our top-tier prospects. He's probably deserving to get a shot somewhere, but probably with, you know, with Bradfield and Honeycutt waiting in the wings for outfield spots. I just don't see Dylan Beavers really. You know, we're still trying to figure out Heston Kerstad and whether or not he's going to get some playing time. I just think we can deal a guy like Beavers and Mountcastle.
Sunday night. And of course,
If they want one more piece, it's got to be somebody way down the chain that we don't care about, a project. But that should get the deal done. It's fair trade. Both teams will improve with a trade like that.
2-2 pitch. Fouled back and out of play.
I promised the guys that I played golf with today I wouldn't.
Now, if we were to get with Dylan Cease, I don't think we have to give up as much. Plus, I don't think San Diego's looking for a guy like Ryan Mountcastle. I think they just want prospects. But if they, again, for me, it's off limits. Basayo, Mayo, Kerstad, maybe Kerstad, maybe. If it took Kerstad, maybe. But yeah, Honeycutt, Bradfield, Basayo, and Mayo, definitely no. Not for a one-year guy. And if you look at what we had to give up for Corbin Burns, it should be something similar, if not less, than a Joey Ortiz and DL Hall. So yeah, I don't see why we'd need to give up one of our blue-chip prospects. A package of like a Beavers and like an infielder like, who do we got down there? Or maybe another arm. They're really not looking for any particular spot to fill. So if it was something like McDermott and a Beavers for Cease, I'm down with that. I'm down with that.
Who else? Joe Carter, Mr. RBI. His 35th RBI of the year. There he is. Milligan playing behind him with a 3-2 count. 2 down. There he goes. That's foul. Fielded by Rich Hacker. Used to be a coach with the St. Louis Cardinals, now here in Toronto. or with Toronto here in Baltimore.
It is pretty interesting that Burns is not signed somewhere yet. Wouldn't you guys agree? I mean, here's a guy that's pretty much down. I mean, the only 3 teams being talked about are the Giants, that everybody seems to think that's where he's going. But if that's the case, why hasn't it happened yet? The Blue Jays, who are just in the mood to spend money to land a star of some kind, but they're having trouble doing it because it feels like nobody really wants to go there to play. There's reports that look pretty sour in terms of renegotiating and extending the contract of Vlad Guerrero Jr. And if they can't keep him after this coming season, I can also understand why other players that are looking for a contending team to play for aren't really interested in going to Toronto. So if it's the Orioles, the Giants, and the Blue Jays in the hunt for Burns, what's the holdup? I don't really get it. This ball could dunk in, and it will dunk in. That's a classic Orsolak duck snort to center field. Do the Orioles have any high-rated pitching prospects? Yeah, McDermott, like I was saying, unless you want to count Povich. It's Povich and McDermott. That's pretty much it.
And the Orioles were out in front 1-0 against Todd Stottlemyre. It remained that way.
You know, we might still be in the running for Burns, but the only way I see us signing him is if he was willing to take a contract that was no longer than 5 years. Or if it's like 6, let it be like an option year or something. I don't want to commit more than 5 years guaranteed to anybody for that kind of money, because it's just everything has to go right in order for that deal to be worth it, in my humble opinion. And the other thing is, you look at guys like Burns or Max Fried, and they're looking, you know, Fried got an 8-year deal. He's 30 years old now, maybe 31, so he's going to be on that contract like into his age 38 season. And you look at a guy like Sagano that we just picked up, and how a lot of people are looking at him like, oh, that's an over-the-hill arm. He's 35. What's he going to do for you? Well, I would answer back, what's Max Fried going to do for you once he's 35? Because you're locked into paying him a lot of money when he's 35, 36, 37, and 38. Yeah, you're getting him now when he's 31, 32, 33, 34, but you just locked up 8 years with this guy. You hear what I'm saying here, folks?
That Ripken was sitting on the ball inside.
You know, I'm sure the Yankees are happy to go get Max Fried. You know, their fans, it was the first move they made after Juan Soto went to the Mets. They pretty much signed Fried within 24 hours as almost like just to throw some meat to the fan base and go, see, we're spending money. But I just don't see the money for Fried being a good investment because of the years. It's just too many years. And if Burns wants that many years, I just don't see it being good business for us. If we were a team in a bigger market or have established that we've got a larger payroll, then I don't know what our payroll is going to look like under this new ownership once we're a few years into this thing. But I also don't feel like there's a rush to go out and get a $250 million contract the first offseason of this new ownership group. Like, maybe a better option than Burns is on the market next year. You go out and get a guy like a Cease, pitches 1 year, and then next year you look at the market and go, okay, here's another arm that could be our ace that isn't like Corbin Burns' price, you know? Here's a pop-up here. We're in the bottom of the 6th inning. What is it, 3-1 Toronto now? Ripken pops out. I was hoping to get something from Cal. This is his MVP season. He'll probably have one more at-bat left.
By the way, at the start of the day, Ripken leading the league in batting.
So, yeah, there's definitely something strange going on with Corbin Burns because, again, there's really not a whole lot left to suss out. Toronto has pretty much made their stance known. They're willing to spend more than anybody to get him. San Francisco has made their stance known. They can't spend as much, but they also know it's the preferred destination for Burns because he wants to be out west. And then he got the Orioles, who, you know, Scott Boras, the agent for Burns, is saying Burns isn't counting out Baltimore, and Baltimore isn't officially saying we're done with pursuing Burns. So what's going on there? I don't know. I think, Elias, I think we aren't counting Burns out officially until we go out and make a trade for an ace. If we successfully trade for an ace, then you can definitely say we're out of the Burns equation. But until we land that arm, I guess you kind of have to go with the, go with the program and say you're still interested in perhaps getting Burns back.
Rally's going, taking an extra base, getting the clutch hit. Blue Jays have had 2 men bat.
I just don't get the feeling Burns really cares about pitching for us. And to me, you got to really love the team you're playing for if I'm going to give you that kind of contract. Sorry.
0 for 5 with men in scoring position.
You know, and I'm not treating it like a Soto shows disloyalty to the Yankees by moving on to the Mets for just a little bit more money. I can't believe the way Yankee fans and Yankee commentators have treated that whole situation. And now they're trying to like spin it to where they're like, oh, well, we're building a better team without him. Come on, you guys were so miserable and so angry. There's videos of fans out there burning jerseys and what. I mean, come on. Oh, but now, yeah. And now it's time to shift. We're better without him. Well, you might be. Padres traded him to you, and last year they were better than they were the year before. Burns traded by the Brewers to us last year, and what did they do? They went out and won their division. They seem to be able to handle life without Burns. So losing a top player isn't always the end of the world, folks. But if you're a Yankee fan and you're talking about Juan Soto, apparently that's not the case.
Brought to you by Sterling, the remarkably equipped British road car, and by
Michael, I'd only be guessing at Ripken's final numbers, but yeah, I would say 30-plus homers, 100-plus RBI, and an average 300-ish. Yeah.
Sunday night broadcasters, Joe Morgan and John Miller. Thank you.
Well, Michael, until the new ownership, I think the biggest stain on the Orioles organization was the ownership, and I think that more than anything is why players we might have wanted to attract come over to play for us didn't want to come play for us. Sagano has already come out and said he loves the soft shell crab at the Charleston. So Sagano's already fitting into the culture nicely.
Out to the mound, he's got Williamson up in the bullpen.
But
looks like he's going to make the move here.
That's what we're hoping. We're hoping to change the culture, of this organization. Make it a place you want to come play. Now, we can't offer the kind of stuff that the Dodgers are offering because they are fully committed to doing everything it takes to lure every great player to come play for them. And it's working. They are winning. Yeah, I'm keeping my eye on the Commanders too there, Michael. It seems to me, they're definitely on the right track to turn around that organization with Dan Snyder gone and Daniels looking like a really difference maker quarterback that the team hasn't seen for quite some time. But I will say it's probably another year or two before I think they're real content. Because every time I'm looking at it seems like every game they've won, it's against bad teams, and they'll put up 35 points. But every team that's got every loss has been against the winning record teams.
becomes dead at the moment he was hit.
I need to
So the
see them
runner
beat the
wouldn't want to go
Eagles,
back
and
to
then
the
maybe
line.
I can buy them doing something in the
Getting a bunt
in the
down.
playoffs, you know.
Actually, Gomez saw
But if
right
it doesn't
away
happen
and
this
started
year,
in.
that's
He's clearly out
it's
of
all
the
right.
batter's
They're
box
heading
when
in
the
the right
ball does
direction.
hit him on the right hip.
Oh, that hit you. You're out.
So Borders is retired.
That's got to be the worst. Pat Borders as well. Imagine being a catcher, bunting for a hit, and you're out because you ran into your own baseball.
Actually, Gomez saw
You're
it right
out.
away and started in. He's clearly out of the batter's box when the ball does
You're out. That's got to be the worst out ever.
hit him on the right hip.
So Borders is retired.
I think it was a good idea.
Adult baseball with the All-Stars. What the hell is this? Oh, Dream Week. Oh, like where you played.
Runner into scoring position.
I remember being young and wanting to do that. My cursor is going crazy again. Oh, great. Can you please just... All right, I'll hit play there. And I just won't move the cursor.
3-1, Toronto ahead in the 7th inning.
Manuel Lee.
Batting left-handed now. He is a switch hitter. Foul.
Foul. Mark Williamson out there on the mound.
California Angels won today. Out of the West Coast.
Steady
7-3.
presence in the Orioles bullpen from the late
Bad
80s
day
into the
for
early
the
90s.
East Coast baseball team. Every single Eastern Division club in the National League lost to every single club in the Western Division. 6 Western teams defeated the 6 Eastern teams over there. And it's a foul by Manny Lee. And the only
Tapped
Eastern
foul in front of
squad
home
in
plate.
the American League to win today was the New York Yankees, who came from behind with an exciting 6-4 victory over the
Brady
Texas
Anderson?
Rangers.
Now, he was on the team like in 88.
And of course,
Trade
you've
with
got
the,
Orioles here, who
that was
both
part of the
teams
Mike Boddicker
won
trade,
that
right? 88? Brady
bad
came over?
day back east. But right now, especially in the American League, the West is looking very, very strong. This Toronto club is
Up and in.
is atop the American League East. If they were in the West right now, they would be in 5th place.
But as Cito Gaston says, they're playing in the East. That's all they're worried about right now. Trying to beat the other teams in the Eastern Division.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the last retro game, guys. Such a miserable. Thank you so much for those that have hung out here tonight. But can you blame me for putting the kibosh on this? Hey, Fitz. Nice freaking camera, but I'm still not streaming at 1080p on YouTube. I got to figure all that out. And maybe it'll just be easier to do it on my newer computer. Which, by the way, Fitz.
Back to the bag is Whit. 1 out. Whit did first, 7th inning here.
There it is.
Glenn Allen Hill
Boy, this
behind
sucker is heavy,
Dave
too.
Winfield in another home run today. What a year
This
he's
sucker is...
We'll get Dave Parker to be as productive as he was last year.
Just picked her
They
up.
will have a very fine ball club. Very good shot at open.
Lined into the first couple of rows down there on the left side.
Memorial Stadium in Baltimore. This is ESPN Sunday Night
Wild to see
Baseball.
Detroit and
There's a look
Milwaukee in the
from,
East.
across 33rd Street at the old ballpark.
Yeah. I'm still on my old laptop, Fitz. Yeah, that's why I'm holding up the other one.
The final game, the first weekend of October. As the Orioles move.
That's the
downtown
new
to
one,
Camden
but
Yards area.
I also picked up a digital camera, and I went ahead and just plugged that into this one to see how it worked. But I just got the computer last night. I'm still in the
Excellent fastball.
phase of trying to, well, actually, I'm really stuck because this isn't the most interesting topic in the world, but, you know, I'm trying to back up files and what have you onto the cloud so that I can carry over all of my files, settings, and everything to the new computer rather than going through hours and hours of setting everything back up, figuring out what password goes where and all that crap. But there's some kind of bug in this computer here, the old one, because when I go to verify my
Williamson threw a lot of hard
cloud
fastballs.
account or something, it's not doing it.
Curveball down and in.
As if there's some kind of
Williamson also throws,
what do you call
an
it?
excellent palm ball.
some, as if I picked up a virus or something. Like you click on the thing, it's I looked at the troubleshoot. It said to go to this particular setting, click it, and change your pin. It's basically telling me it doesn't recognize my pin. Yeah, it must be some kind of malware. I'm just guessing, but you can just tell because I click on the area, the little drop-down menu for pin settings or whatever, and it just shows you a little blue circle as if it's... So it recognized my click, but then it just does nothing. And then when you try to click anywhere in the entire box, any of the options, they don't work. It freezes the screen. So yeah, it feels like malware, like somebody set it up to where I can't fix it. So yeah, it's going to be a real pain in the butt if I can't, transfer. I mean, because like especially all the, oh God, all the screenshots and like stadium photo, like all the photos and stuff I use to make the thumbnail, like I'd have to regather everything. I don't want to have to do that. All right, David Segui is up. Stottlemyre still out there on the mound. The Orioles with just the one run in the ball game off a solo home run from Leo Gomez. Segui with a hard hit ball on a big bounce to first. And Pat Tabler will take it to the bag unassisted. The Orioles are running out of outs. Hey, look at that. A Camden Yards. There it is, folks. Camden Yards in the process of being built as we watch the final season here at Memorial Stadium, home of the Orioles since they moved over from St. Louis back in 1954. 3-1 Blue Jays, bottom of the seventh. Randy Milligan at the plate. And a big cut and a miss on a pitch that dropped out of the zone there. 0 for 2 is Milligan.
What do you favor? Please. I don't live here. I'm not going to pay any taxes to get the stadium done.
You probably go for like Johnny Bench Park or something.
No, but you know what? I think.
So yeah, I want to. Yeah, Christian Walker going to the Astros, which means Bregman is got 1.5 feet out of the door. Still calling it. He's going to Boston.
Well, Fenway Park, as a for instance, was named after the area.
Also happy that Walker doesn't wind up on the Yankees, because I know the Yankees would have been happy to put him at first.
The outstanding baseball essayist of the New Yorker. He loves Camden Yards. The idea of let's go to the yard.
Randy Milligan draws a walk. That'll bring the tying run up to the plate. Yeah. But yeah, so with the addition of Walker, it made it official. You got enough product in that hair, babe? All right.
They're starting to worry a little bit, though. I could see that on the mother's face.
Well, maybe we should go to the replay, Joe, and have you use the telestrator on that. Maybe. Joe's an analyst in every sector. How am I looking to you? Am I looking a little worried right now? A little stressful, maybe? Here's Bob.
Well, for your sake, you better hope it's Bregman. I think Arenado's washed.
1 out, 1 on, 7th inning. Toronto ahead 3-1. There's a called strike to Melvin. The Orioles are hopeful.
Hey, it's Bob Melvin at the plate.
He suffered an injury to the spinal accessory nerve.
Curveball fouled away.
Back out of play, strike 2. There is Dwayne Ward, the big hard-throwing right-hander in the Toronto bullpen.
Yeah, but again, it's a declining defense. Fitz, what did he win? Like 14 straight Gold Gloves, but none in the past 3-4 years. So you're talking about a guy that, yeah, he's an elite defender, but it's going into decline.
2 down, Bill Ripken coming up. Well,
it's going into a bit of a decline.
Information about Davis.
Better than Devers, though.
As we take another look at that.
I'll give you that.
Strike 3 to Melvin, and Davis, if the doctors give him the the clearance as early as
I just think
Tuesday.
if you, I think you're more worried about a right-handed, you know, big bat. I think Bregman gives you a better chance of putting up big numbers there in the middle of the lineup.
That's the problem with the injury. John Oates described it. He said, "Hey,
Oh, it should be slower. He's younger.
broken a leg or broken his arm, you put it in a cast, it heals, and you put it back out there. With this, the traction of the
Plus, he's
spinal
just built for
sensory nerve
Boston.
is
You
so
know, he's
rare.
used to a short left
They
field.
don't know if he'll be back in 2 weeks,
Like
3
Houston.
weeks, 10 months. They're hoping earlier rather than later. Ball and a strike to Bill Ripken. He's doubled and struck out.
You wouldn't be mad if you wound up with Bregman, would you?
Here's John Oates.
I mean, just the addition alone, there wouldn't be a reason to. I guess it would just come down to whether or not you thought the contract was good.
And that will go foul.
Ripken fouls one away off to the left.
The shortstop give chase.
Give that fan a contract.
Spectators, and there are 27,783 of them here tonight. At the old
A hot June night in 1991 Baltimore.
Played sports on this site since 1922. There was an old ballpark called the Municipal Stadium built here. That was kind of jury-rigged into a baseball stadium in the old minor league ballpark.
You can almost see the humidity in the air.
And then while they were still playing International League baseball here, they began constructing around the ball games this ballpark. Grounding ball to second
This
to
could,
Alomar.
well, Alomar is just going to flip it. 2 down already. That inning is over. We're running out of outs. 2 innings to go. Blue Jays lead it by 2. Yeah, that's the rub. That's the rub, is the length of the contract. Yeah. Well, you know.
ESPN Sunday Night Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light.
If you don't get him, he's going to be on the Yankees.
By the good tires, good service, and
Everybody got to come to the East and try to beat my O's. Sick of it.
With Minwax, it's
Just
easy to make
deal with it.
beautiful.
We're going to beat everybody.
State Farm Insurance.
Sorry.
Like
How you
a
doing?
good
My
neighbor,
cursor's stuck.
State Farm is there.
And this is
Why not?
Sunday Night Baseball.
Oh, boy. Yep. Hey, Fitz, this is my last retro game.
John Miller, along with
As you can
Joe
see, nobody comes out for these at all. It's
Devon White is lined to second.
embarrassing
Hit a
at this
home run to
point.
left, and he has walked and scored a run. Now he's batting
I could be watching Darman videos right now with double the audience.
strike on 1. Williamson in relief of Ballard, who went 6 innings plus, gave up 3 runs, 7 hits. And now Williamson trying to keep it
And
close.
Kershmore,
Working
too.
on the stretch. Curveball in there for a call and strike 2.
Yeah, Mike, I don't know what to expect from the Astros with Kyle Tucker leaving. I don't know if Valdez is going to get traded or not, but they've been talking about it. But they are bringing in some pieces, too, so it's more of a retooling than a rebuild. But it feels like the days of Houston being like a lock for the ALCS
As far back as 1983.
starting to fade away.
This club is always in the pennant race. Many years predicted.
Oh, I would
by
love for the
most
Yankees to miss the
best
playoffs.
team to win the division. And the foul tip is held.
There's a swing and a miss. Devon White down on strikes. Might have been a foul tip. Roberto Alomar coming up.
In the batting box, batter's box, for different reasons. Look at Roberto Alomar. When he stands up close, so everything he hits will be in fair territory because his bat will be working out in fair territory in front of the plate. We'll get an example here. Watch. See, he's right out in front of the plate. That keeps the ball fair. Now, guys that stand deep in the batter's box have just the opposite effect. Their bat.
Wonder if we'll see Olerud pinch hit now that there's a righty in there at some point.
Stand in the front part of the batter's box. That's the way I used to like to stand.
Oh, I forgot about the whole Bregman trash. Yeah, I forgot about the trash can thing. Yeah, never mind. Bregman not going to the Yankees. Trash
Here's an
can.
example of Joe Carter. He's deep in the box. Now, he will
Tucker
have
was
his
okay,
bat
but not Bregman.
not be in fair territory when he swings. He will work out in
All
front.
right, well,
Right there. See how the ball goes
and I
foul.
guess I hope he doesn't
Right
sign
down
for
the line.
Boston. I don't know. Stop making AL East teams that aren't us better.
Throws out Alomar.
Alomar retired.
Well, why
2
would a
down,
guy
top of the
stand
8th.
Deep in the box like that.
Well, when you stand deep in the box, theoretically, it gives you a longer look at the pitch. Gives you a split second longer to see the pitch and recognize it. but it also gives the pitcher a little more of the outside part of the plate to work with, because it gives the ball a little more time to break away from you. And when you stand in front of the batter's box, you have to be able to handle
Joe
the fastball
Carter.
because it gets there a little quicker.
Mr. Carter.
So usually guys with quick bats will stand in front. Guys with a little slower bats, or guys who want to see the ball a little longer, will stand deeper in the box.
So you would always stand in the front.
I always stood in the
He's
front
got an
because I wanted my
STD in his
bat to
eye.
be in
That's what
fair
happens when you come to
territory all the time.
Baltimore. You got to
Whenever
be
I
careful.
swung the bat, if it was in fair territory.
Even when you faced Koufax or
Yeah.
Nolan Ryan, guys like that, you'd stand up in the front.
Yeah, I wasn't real smart, but I did it anyway.
Here's Joe Carter. He's fouled out twice. He's singled. He has an RBI.
That's right in there.
Strike from Mark Williamson. 0-1. Carter only 2.
You ever see Memorial Stadium, Fitz, the old Orioles
There
ballpark?
he is, deep in the box. For
Interested in re-signing Pivetta? Well, they wouldn't lose a draft pick, right?
Right to Gomez at third.
Or if he was signed somewhere else, he'd get a draft pick. But wait, how does that work?
All 6 of
No,
the
you
hitters
get
he has
compensated.
faced. Done his job. Kept
That's
the
why we
ball
don't want him.
close. Top of the order for the Orioles. They need 2 good. We're right-handers.
All right, re-sign Pivetta.
For Toronto.
Well, Dwayne Ward and
Dwayne
Tom
Ward.
Hickey, 2 real hard-throwing right-handers, are back-to-back in the Toronto bullpen
Ah,
for the Toronto Blue Jays. Look, there's a great 39 strikeouts and 11 bases on balls, and there's Stottlemyre. He's relaxing. in
I
the
mean,
dugout.
Pivetta ain't trash. He'll be pitching
And,
somewhere.
He might. Pitched a heck of a game.
He's okay, middle of the order.
Gives the ball to Dwayne Ward.
But probably
This guy,
too
when
much-
He was on the disabled list earlier this year. Became
Too
the
pricey
closer.
for what he gives you, I guess.
And he was certainly up to it.
There's a
Devereaux
strike
takes
to
a
Devereaux.
fastball for a strike. By the time Henke got back, Ward was right up at the top of the league in saves. He has 12 saves.
A lot of bugs flying around out there tonight.
0 for 2 of the walk, hitting .287. And quickly the count is 0-2. Ward, the real hard thrower, and he's got a split-fingered fastball.
Oh, that's right. That's the thing about Pivetta. I have heard he's a bit of a unlikable person amongst teammates.
Sort of a blueprint kind of a game.
That's not a
Kind of
good
game that
reputation to
goes
have.
play. Defense, a little bit of speed, some clutch hitting, strong pitching.
There's a routine grounder to Tony Fernandez. He's probably the
One away.
best fielding shortstop
They've definitely taken advantage
in the American
of every
League at
scoring
this
opportunity they've had tonight.
time, other than
Two runners
Cal.
in scoring position, and they've also hit the home run, so they're doing a good job. And they're
Tony was
making it
pretty
their
damn
built to play low-run
solid.
ball games. Not as many home run hitters as they had the last couple of years.
Come on, Baltimore. Let's see some kind of a rally here.
Salak has popped to third, popped to short, and singled 1 for 3.
The fans have seen one swing
Blue Jays
to put one run on the board, and that's it.
played 56 games.
Well, let's go.
And 29 of them, or
Whoops.
more than half, have been decided by 1 run or 2 runs. So they've played a lot of tight ones. Orsalak, 1 for 3. He is 2 for 2.
Once again, thank you to the uploader of this game, Go Sports!
Straight back.
Exclamation point.
Just as
Check
he
out
was
their
at
channel.
Devereaux, ahead of Orsalak, 0-2.
This video has 1 like, and it's from me.
Cal Ripken on deck.
Great night. Oh, great history, I should say, against this pitcher for Orsalak.
Might have been that split-fingered fastball.
Well, you mentioned the good split finger, and he threw him 2 good fastballs, came back with the split finger.
Yeah, the Sandoval signing, I guess,
Cal Ripken.
I mean, if he were fully ready to go, that was a lefty on the free agent list that I thought the Orioles could look at as a guy that could be in their price range. But yeah,
One in the right
we
center field.
can't afford to wait for him to get healthy.
But tonight, Cal has fouled the first. He's hit a comebacker, and he's popped.
You're gonna stash him,
See if they stay inside. They pitched him inside the entire
and
ball game. Stottlemyre
it
did.
could be a good signing.
Very
Could work out.
successful. See if Ward stays inside or goes away.
Better environment for him, I'm sure. The Angels just
Strike 1.
that's a place I wouldn't want to be playing.
3-1 Blue Jays. And a victory for
Seems like
Toronto
every
will
decision
give
they
them
make is
an extra
wrong.
game in the standings. Boston, the second-place team, lost today. In fact, Toronto would gain on the whole division except the Yankees. Everybody lost in the division.
Cal Ripken is at the plate. You might have heard of him.
Here's the 1-strike pitch to Cal.
And he shows bunt for some reason.
He has had 3 bunt singles this year. It's 8 pitches thrown by Ward. They have all been strikes. There is some some activity going in the bullpen. Acker's been starting of late. And McDonald, the left-hander, I don't think they're going to be into this ball game, though. Here's the ball, 1-2.
Yeah, and if you look at Sandoval prior to that, like when he first came up, yeah, I mean, he's definitely got the potential to be a really good lefty.
Now you start to think, I've got to be quick, I've got to be quick. Dwayne Ward throws
Once
the
he's
breaking ball away,
healthy and ready to go, and with some guys, you get that Tommy John, and you wind up throwing a little bit harder than you did before. Ripken retired. He's had a hitless night. You know, I was hoping, picking a 1991 game, the year Ripken won the MVP, that we would get some Ripken magic, but apparently not. We go to the top of the ninth. We're down 3-1.
Nicholas on Sports Center after the ball game. That reminds us that this Thursday and Friday on ESPN, you'll be able to see the U.S. Open, the premier.
Williamson still out there.
That's Thursday and Friday. All the greatest golfers will be there, and here's your chance to be
There's
there.
a mezzanine. I sat in the mezzanine level of Memorial Stadium one time.
11
I
a.m.
remember it
Thursday morning, also
vividly
5
because
p.m.
it's like
and Friday the same times, 11 a.m. and at 5 p.m.
it's like
version of the
like
day's
an
coverage,
obstacle
each
course
night.
trying to navigate your way into that thing.
Mark Williamson to Pat Tabler, who is 0 for 3. Just off the outside. 1-2 the count.
I tell you what, when it came to calling games, Fitz, John Miller, the best in the business, at least in the modern era, for my money.
What would you call a middleman or setup man? He's been the guy usually in the last couple of years.
You know,
There's a
hit out there to the left in front of Segui.
base hit for Tabler.
One out knock for the Blue Jays, looking to add on to this 3-1 lead in the ninth.
He just got it up a little bit, but it was on the hands, and he jammed Tabler, but he was able to push it into left field for a base hit.
Pat Tabler.
Fastball in, and he jams Tabler, but Tabler's able to get it into left field.
So here's the young Ed Sprague. He is only 23 years of age, born in Castro Valley, California. There it goes. The ball is fouled straight back.
Sprague has the distinction of probably having the longest last name that's only one syllable. S-P-R-A-G-U-E. 7 letters, 1 syllable. That's not easy to find, folks. Go ahead. You try to find one.
The Orioles with bullpen activity. There's Tabler at first. Milligan on the bag with him. Nothing going this time as the ball is lofted foul.
There's a pitch fouled away.
Line into the mezzanine section. 0-2 the count.
Talk about Ed Sprague Sr. He used to own a minor league baseball team
in Stockton Ports.
Right.
The California League. He and his wife, this fellow's mother, they ran the club, right?
Had his and her ball club team, but it was actually that wasn't.
I'll take mid-February right now, Fitz. Pitchers and catchers reporting. Let's go. I want to see Felix Bautista out there throwing to live batters.
And 1-2.
When I first saw the signing, I didn't realize who it was. Who? Sandoval? Yeah, I mean, he's never been like a,
that means he's covering.
Like a top tier desirable pitch. I mean, yeah, unless you follow the Angels, or maybe remember him pitching against us once or twice. And
we're going to get a pinch runner at first base.
He hasn't had a remarkable career, really, but he's
defensive specialist.
He had that one pretty healthy season where he put up some pretty good numbers.
Third base. Mike Squires, the first base coach over there with him. So Sprague finishes 1 for 4.
Hey, look, it's it's R.C. Gonzalez pinch running for Toronto. This brings back a memory. I do not remember that Gonzalez had moved on and played for the Blue Jays, but there he is.
He played here with the Orioles. Wasn't much work for him.
Is the White Sox still? I would love for him to go there. I would love it.
Virtually every inning, every day.
I would love for Sasaki to wind up on the White Sox. Fifth spot in the rotation. Only if we don't sign anybody else, Michael. So I'm doubting it. Right now, you're looking at a rotation of Eflin, Grayson, Sagano, Kramer, and then Povich would be your number 5. But if we do sign somebody who's going to be at the top part of the order or top part of the rotation, then I would expect Povich to probably go back to AAA because he's not really a guy you want to use as a long reliever. But you know how these injuries are. Povich is basically the first call-up if any of the 5 starters have a problem. So he's gonna get his shots. But yeah, if you're talking about today, he would be our number 5 starter. Hey JJ, what's going on, man? How'd the basketball game go? We're in the 9th inning over here already, so things are wrapping up quick. Oh, you came back to win? Great. You were down like double digits when I was watching. Good stuff. Hey, Cam looks great today. Yeah, I've got an HD camera, but I'm still not broadcasting on YouTube in HD, I guess. That's going to require some setting changes, and since I've got my new laptop, we'll see. Maybe with the new laptop, I just plug this camera in and it'll immediately, I don't know. We'll see. There's so much work to do with setting up everything for the new season. But I've got more things. I've got the camera here. Not really excited about it. I'm not excited about me coming in clearer because all my imperfections will be highlighted more. You know, my yellow stained cigarette teeth. That's why I got to keep this microphone right here. Block the mouth. Oh, you went around, bud.
One strike the count to Borders, who is 0 for 3.
You went around, Pat.
It's a hard breaking ball away.
Yeah, that's right. I got, not only have I got a friend locally here. Look at that punch out. That's good form. Good right jab. I guess that's more of a hook. Williamson steps off. But yeah, I got a buddy that I met here in town. Young man in his 20s. He knows about streaming and setting up stuff. And then there's another, the son of one of the ladies that watch my other channel. She's like, he does this stuff. And apparently he's going to help out where needed because yeah, a lot to figure out, and I just want to call the games, man. I just want to call the games and do my research on the team. This technical stuff is not my cup of tea. I need help.
I'm not from New England. There's ball 2 outside.
But we're gonna have something. My number one thing is that I'm broadcasting on YouTube in HD quality. I think the microphone doesn't really need an upgrade. The camera is an upgrade. Once I get the new computer up and running, I'm going to have like a streaming software like Streamlabs or something. Build a more, interesting visual presentation. I don't really want to copy what everybody else is doing. In a perfect world, I'm going to try to have a display that will be modern in terms of, sharp and up to date and all that, but I want it to actually look more retro and more old school than a lot of the other sports streaming channels that I see out there, like a lot of them seem to have like flashy colors and just constant stuff. Like I want to tone it down a little bit. And you know,
Southern California at his home.
try to have, it's kind of like Camden Yards. It's a modern ballpark, modern amenities, but with that old school retro feel. That's sort of the way I want my channel to be, like the YouTube channel version of Camden Yards. Is that too much to ask? That's right. Eagles and Commanders is this weekend, so the first real test. I say first real test. Basically, I don't know. This is it for Washington. If they got any designs on doing something this year, they got to show they can beat a good team.
Frank's a very good baseball man, and he will
Not
do a
just
good
beat
job in evaluating
the under 500 teams and lose to all the winning teams. That seems to be what's been happening so far.
so they can make proper trades.
I haven't followed close enough to get much deeper into
Bring in a guy
NFL
who
talk
has
than
just
that,
seen
but
all of the other players in the leagues, in both leagues. He sees the National League in spring training, and he
Nice.
sees the American League, of course, on a daily basis.
I only know one
Frank's a
Barkley,
guy that knows the game inside and out, so
the
his
best
knowledge can
Barkley
do
ever.
nothing but help the Orioles organization.
He was knighted at some point. Sir Charles, they call him.
He had this job.
All right, top of the ninth. Let's get out of this and try to rally. Oh, that's going to drop. Oh, a diving catch by Orsolak. He pops up and throws the ball back into the infield. Smoking Joe O. It didn't look like anything you'd see in an Olympic dance routine or something. That was a hell of a play.
Besides that, it's all in the reflexes.
That's right, Jack Burton checking in.
Probably some of the greatest plays ever
This is
made.
Jack Burton.
This is Jack Burton in the Pork Chop Express, and I'm talking to whoever's listening out there.
That's right.
Orsolak charges it, leaves his feet right there, and makes the catch. And Larry Barnett ran out to right field to make sure he made the catch, and he gave the call. And clearly,
Well, I mean,
nice catch by Orsolak.
my boy from Baltimore certainly deserves to be in that MVP conversation, right? Last I checked, that offense has done pretty well.
That's ball one. You're the play-by-play guy. I'm the analyst. You call it.
Actually, I think Santander makes that catch, JJ, just as awkwardly as Orsolak did.
Well, it's television. They saw it. The heck with
It's not always graceful,
a lovely.
but you gotta make the catch.
Manuel Lee has lined to right. He's singled home a run and he has struck out. 1 for 3. 2 on, 2 out.
And that ball's hit softly on a line to Bill Ripken. He looks at the baseball, says it's good enough to keep in play, drops it on the mound, heads back to the dugout. We go to the bottom of the ninth, middle of the order coming up for the Orioles, down by 2. And here are some of your highlights from 1991, the NBA Finals between the Lakers and Bulls, and the 91 French Open going on this date.
The Orioles are looking for
And, yeah.
late night thunder. There is the former Oriole, Rene Gonzalez, talking it over with Cal Ripken Sr. He is now playing third base.
There's Rene Gonzalez. Stays in the game. Tom Henke. Here's another guy with those birth control glasses that were all the rage back then.
Should falter here in the ninth. Todd Stottlemyre, who had gone 3
Stottlemyre's day is over.
But he is the pitcher of record in this one. And now
All right, we need a ninth inning rally. Sam Horn, not the ideal guy to lead off. You want him up there with a man on to try to tie it. Well, he's going to try and do something. How about extra bases? Run, Sam. Oh, God, he's so slow. That's why he stunk, Sam. Get a pinch runner out there immediately. Holy shit. Damn it. He barely got around first.
Down the right field line, and it bounces off the wall so quickly he does not have a chance to go for 2. The fastball out over the plate, and he really turns on it well. Nice play by Whitten.
I mean, it was a nice job to get it back in quick, but come on, man. All right, the pinch runner is on for Horn. Now, which Juan Bell? Holy shit, that brings back some memories.
He's the younger brother of the former Blue Jay, George Bell.
George Bell's younger brother, Juan Bell.
Everybody refers
And you won't be seeing many Juan Bell highlights out there on YouTube, folks. Here's Leo Gomez, who's gotten the only run of the night for Baltimore, a home run in his first at-bat. 1 for 3 on the night. A chance for some Orioles magic here. We could use some. Oh, not a good cut at all, and a pitch up and in. Gomez stuck between a rock and a hard place with that swing. Juan Bell on to pinch run for Sam Horn at first base. Nobody out, bottom of the ninth, tying run at the plate. And a 3-1 Blue Jay lead here in the bottom of the ninth at Memorial Stadium in Baltimore, the final year of this beloved venue. Home of the Orioles and the Baltimore Colts, the days of Johnny Unitas and the Oriole heyday of Brooks and Frank Robinson. Some great Baltimore sports happened in this here venue, and this is just a few months away from closing down. Gomez takes off the plate. Good eye.
He had thrown a couple of fastballs inside, and he tried to hit the outside corner.
David Segui is on deck.
Segui, switch hitter on deck. He's had a good night in the field. Come on, Leo. Just don't hit into a... Yeah. 2-2 the count. Come on, Leo. Breaking. We got breaking news. Oh, boy. All caps. Oh, boy. Hold on, hold on. And that ball's fisted into the air at first base, straddling the foul line. In foul ground, the catch is made. Jose Trevino to... Who cares? That's fine. Actually, I'm going to miss Trevino's terrible throwing arm, where you could just run on him all day whenever he was catching for the Yankees. Was this a trade? Or was he a free agent? Don't tell me this was a trade. What the hell are you giving away to get Trevino? Hey, David Segui at the plate. Free agent, okay. Segui fouls a pitch away.
In the ninth inning the other day at Minnesota, he hit a home run against Rick Aguilera. His only
Hey, you got Kepler.
3-1 Toronto Sports Center right after the ball.
I know it's not a sexy name, JJ, but that's a decent lefty bat. Really? You don't like it? Isn't it like a one-year deal? Hey, if you want to rage about it, I'll bring you on my Discord right now. Oh, we got something going on. A wild pitch. Juan Bell into scoring position. Of course, we still need to get the runner at the plate home. But that does get rid of the conventional double play. Or is there already 2 out? I don't know. There's 1 or 2 out already. It was a trade? What the hell? What? What? A bag of baseballs? I hope Cincinnati gave back a bag of balls. What the hell did the Reds give back? Are you kidding me? You know how happy the Yankees are to trade him away? They were like, please take him. Unbelievable. Fernando Cruz and Alex Jackson. I don't really know much about them, but I'm going to say the Yankees won that trade. Why would you seek to trade for Trevino? Yeah, I could easily have seen the Yankees just DFAing him at some point. between now and like a month or two into next year. This ball's hit off a cue, and is that the ball game or is that out number 2? That's the second out in the 9th. A cue shot on the infield.
You would think that he would come back with a split finger, but he made
What was that little slap?
so badly on the play, but he comes back with a fastball and he jams him.
Oh, Cruz is. What is he? Like a relief pitcher or something?
Trying to reverse
I'm gonna
his
guess that's a
field.
relief pitcher. There's no way you're taking a 33-year-old in a trade unless he's a relief pitcher.
Manuel throws to first.
Because that's the only way I see him still having any value. Okay, so he is a pitcher. Probably not a starter. Over 100 Ks, though, in relief. All right, so he's a bit of a project. Maybe part of the Yankee pitching core. They see a guy like Cruz. They see something, a little mechanical fix, and he might be on the right track. Either way, though. Either way, you're dumping Trevino. I don't know how much money he was making, but I got to think that cut the payroll down a bit. And, yeah, he was a terrible defensive catcher. As bad as Corbin Burns is at holding base runners, Trevino was worse at throwing them out. Randy Milligan at the plate, folks. Here we go. Come on now. Oh, and then Jackson is a catcher that's sort of in his prime, and that could be your backup now to take Trevino's place. Man, the Yankees, damn them, they pulled off a good move. Up the middle and through a base hit. This game is still on. Coming in to score is David Segui. It's a one-run ball. Oh, no, it's Cruz, pinch runner. Excuse me. And Moose Milligan. Moose keeps the game alive in the bottom of the 9th. Folks, it's time for some magic.
It's magic, you know. It's magic. On a magic carpet ride, you believe in magic.
Under the glove of Tony Fernandez, he normally gets to that ball. It just snuck past him. Tying run on, winning run at the plate. In the form of smoking. Oh, no, it's Ernie Witt. What are you doing up the hit? Oh, we're in trouble. Ernie Witt. Former Blue Jay, if memory serves. This is our backup catcher, I guess, in 91. Are we pinch hitting him for his lefty bat? Yeah, that stance is atrocious. That stance. And we don't have a pinch runner for Milligan? Because a gapper might make the difference. That's a tough pitch. That started inside, tailed back over. Look how far into the outfield grass Alomar's playing. Yeah, but if you knew Ernie Witt, you would not agree. I get the analytics, but there's lefties and then there's Ernie Witt. And I hope I eat crow. I hope he hits a walk-off home run right now. Come on, Ernie. Bottom of the 9th. 2 down. Tying run on. The pitch. Whoa, look out. He almost swung at that. What the hell are you doing? JJ, I'm fine. I'm not feeling like I'm being trolled. You're fine.
They still have Dwight Evans among others on their bench.
Yeah, we had the wrong Witt. This Witt has an H in his name. Come on, Bobby. Get into one, buddy. You want to talk about a surprise. Come on, buddy. What do you got? He's going outside. All right, good eye. He drew a walk. The winning run is on base. Is Orioles magic happening here on Retro Night?
It's magic, you know. On a magic carpet ride, on a magic carpet ride, you believe in magic.
All right, folks. Splash it up.
Splish splash, I was taking a bath.
Tom Henke coming in to try to shut the door for Toronto. Hinky schminky, that's what I say.
Has a decision to make. The ninth place hitter Bill Ripken is due up, but Joe, we got a copy of John Oates' notes.
Oates' notes.
Makes before a game to remind himself. And against Hank,
Oh, so who else we got on the bench? Oh, we got Dwight Evans on. Folks, Dwight Evans. But why is it under the no column? We got Dewey ready to pinch hit from the left side. All right, Hinkie, 7 saves, 10 games, 2.61 ERA.
will come to bat against a real tough right-hander, Tom Henke.
Well, the reason he doesn't want Evans to hit against Hinkie is because he's 0 for 8.
Oh, so Dewey is 0 for 8 off of Hinkie lifetime.
That's what he's thinking about when he.
But look at him. There he is on deck. I told you Evans was the play. I told you.
Unless he has to, and right now he has to.
Dwight Evans versus Tom Hinkie.
He cannot get a base hit. 0 for 8.
But 0 for 8 off of Hinkie lifetime.
Constitute a real pattern.
Hey, that means he's due.
Unless he is struck out like
Dwight
8
Evans.
times or 7 out of 8, something like
Look at that Magnum PI mustache.
Yeah, but that's not enough. You usually have to get about 20 to 25
Folks,
at-bats before you know
we need a miracle.
really handle it.
It's magic.
So here's
We need Dwight Evans. Come on now.
Milligan at second. He's the possible
Come on, Dewey.
win at first, a possible winning run. And in the
Come
ninth,
on, Dewey.
Rick Aguilera when Evans was still with Boston. Red Sox trailing.
Remember, folks, in 91, the Blue Jays won the division, and the Orioles finished in last place.
And he is a good fastball.
And in the current standings on this date, Toronto's first, the Orioles last. But hey,
3-2 Toronto.
do we win tonight? First pitch is not a strike, folks.
Evans is hitting .371 with men in scoring position. Consistent with his record the last 10, 11 years.
Dwight Evans,
Man in the clutch.
veteran.
So too is Tom Henke.
Been there, done that. Oh, wait a minute. He's hitting from the right. Dewey's a right-hander? I suck. Could that dump in? No, it's not. Alomar's got it. Ball game over. And I thought Evans was a left-handed batter.
Win it by 1.
I deserve to be shot.
To 2.
For that reason alone, we don't win. Because I forgot Dewey was a right-handed batter. What, we didn't have a lefty bat to go to?
Showed why they're leading the league right now.
We already used Ernie Witt.
Their pitching staff made a lot of quality.
Ah, Christ. A one-run loss to the Blue Jays.
Ball where they wanted. They got the breaking balls.
The Orioles could only muster 5 hits.
So there are the game totals. The Blue Jays are winning.
Did rally in the ninth, but it was not enough.
In the East. Coming up Wednesday.
And that'll do it here.
Wednesday night baseball.
Again, folks, enjoying a ball game at Old Memorial Stadium.
First in the West.
Yeah, where's the pitch clock violation? Hey, JJ or Fitz, are you still around? Fitz, did you leave?
The Giants. Sports Center is coming up next. Stay tuned for that. Now this is John Miller.
I am offering the opportunity for anybody to want to come on and for a few minutes and discuss whatever the hell they're in the mood to discuss. Of course, it's a very small turnout, so I'm not expecting anybody to take up the offer. But the offer is there to get in on the Talk to BW channel. It's open right now. Would you like to talk to me? Would you like to get your voice out there? Would you like to ask some questions, give some opinions? Now's the time to do it. JJ, you're not in the right area, JJ. Are you? Hey, JJ, what's up? JJ?
Hello.
Yeah.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I think you went right to the one-on-one thing. You're not in the actual Talk to BW voice channel, right?
Oh, I guess not. Wait, hold up. Am I not in your server?
Yeah, you're doing like a.
Am I not?
You're doing a person to person. Yeah, go to my server and go to the Talk to BW thing. Okay. There you go. There we go. All right. I think he's popping in here. JJ. Could you guys hear JJ that first time around? What is JJ's handle on here? There we go. Yo. All right, I just put in a what do you call it? Do you not? Okay, do you need an invite? Sheesh. All right, here. All right, the pressure's on now, JJ. You're gonna have to talk about some good stuff. Oh, sounds like we're on.
Hello. How are you, sir?
I'm doing okay, all things considered. JJ, how about yourself?
I am, honestly, if you want me to be honest with you.
All I ever want is honesty. I only want honesty, JJ.
I'm happy that off season for baseball is here. And here's why. You got to hear me out. Okay? Because I feel like off season for baseball is a time to hit the reset button. It is. I like the idea of having the off season, especially with how things ended for my Phillies. I know that things didn't end so well for your Orioles, and I don't want to, bring that up and open that can of worms. But I also understand, the miss for the game. I get it. But I think that it's nice to have space. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
it's just good to be able to get some.
I mean, can I draw an analogy for you, JJ? I used to work in my late high school, early college years at a Baskin Robbins, and
yep.
If you work at Baskin Robbins, one of your perks is all the ice cream you can eat, right? Like, right. Who doesn't like ice cream? But what happens is, if you're exposed to all the ice cream you want every day, eventually you get sick of ice cream.
You get tired.
You don't really appreciate the ice cream. It has diminishing returns. So, yes, you need an off season. You need time to miss the sport that you love so that you they appreciate it when it comes back.
Yes, and I feel the same exact way, and that's why I like the sports cycle, because I feel like I can always look forward to something. As much as I miss my Phillies community, I'm really happy that that I get to look forward to another spring with them, and I'm excited for when April does come. Like, I have something to look forward to. Right now, I'm actually very lucky, and not to switch sports. I'm not going to be on this for a while. I'm not. But I'm very happy with how the Eagles are playing, and I'm a little bit happier with how the Sixers and the Flyers are doing. But it's just, this one little elephant in the room, and that is the Phillies, have really been just so toxic for me, just as an organization. And I don't get it. I don't get it, man. I really don't. I don't understand. They paid all this money to try to go after a chip. Last year at the deadline, all they do is get Austin Hayes and Tanner Banks, and that's it.
But you did dump a couple of relievers on us that, had contracts. At least you got rid of that.
Well, yes, we got rid of those people, but we traded junk and we got junk.
Yeah. Same
So
same
it
one
really
for us.
didn't
Yeah.
work out.
Yeah.
It really didn't work out, man. And I'm so disappointed in the organization. And I really feel like the Mets have gotten better. The Braves, if they stay healthy next year, they're going to be better. The Dodgers and the Padres are better. With the way that things ended for the Phillies last year, it was just like such a heartbreaker because they never faced the Mets before in the playoffs, and the Mets did that to us. And was the Juan Soto contract too much money? We can argue that. We can talk about that. But at the end of the day, it's, you get the big fish in the sea. And that's what the Mets did.
Yeah,
so they're technically a better team.
To Steve Cohen, it's not, he's got more money than he could ever spend, so it doesn't really matter to him.
Yes.
But I'm happy to see that the Yankees lose. I'm happy to see the Yankees lose out on the Soto bid and watch their fan base and their talking heads try and put this weird spin where at first it's like, screw Soto because, man, what a money-grubbing piece of whatever for just taking a few extra million. How do you pass up the opportunity to be a Yankee for a few extra million?
I don't get that.
First of all, dude, just because you guys look at your own organization as this, cathedral for baseball or whatever, the rest of us don't necessarily do. And may I remind you that of your 27 championships, 25 of them came before Juan Soto was born, or a lot of these people nowadays who weren't really around to see all this great Yankee history. They don't care. It's stop living in the past and stop acting. And it sounds like one of the reasons Soto didn't sign was that whole suite thing where the Yankees were like, well, we're putting our foot down. We've never given anybody a suite. We're not going to give you a suite. The Mets are like, you want a suite? Here. I don't care. Just get over here. I don't know.
You know what's really funny? I think that the Mets learned their lesson from Zach Wheeler. Because Zach Wheeler well, that's a little bit different, but what turned off Zach Wheeler from the Mets was that his parents couldn't get a suite for watching a couple of his games. And that was one of the reasons why he left.
I mean, if you're a starting pitcher, though, can't you share a suite? I mean, you're only pitching maybe 16 home games a year, right?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But for some reason, they didn't allow that to happen, and that really pissed them off. That would piss me off.
Yeah. Hey,
imagine Paul Skeens, just pitching at home, and Olivia Dunn just can't be in the suite. I mean, that would turn me off.
I'm turned off that her name got brought up in this conversation. Can we mention Skeens without mentioning her? It's almost like they're Siamese twins at this point.
It's like Justin Verlander, Kate Upton.
I wasn't thrilled about that either. But anywho,
yeah, I know. But I'm just.
What are your thoughts on? Are you looking at my screen right now? What are your thoughts on this Hall of Fame Japanese pitcher that we picked up under everybody's nose?
I'm not looking at your screen right now because it's a little bit delayed, but now I see. I haven't really done my full research on him, but you know what that kind of does tell me?
Yeah.
I don't think that what's his name's coming back.
Burns?
Yeah.
I don't think one has to do with the other because we need two pitchers. I don't think Burns is coming back, but I don't think this signing has anything to do with that fact or that speculation. No, because we need a frontline starter and we need a number 4-ish guy, and this is the number 4-ish guy. This is not our answer to the top of the rotation. We're still going to actively seek to trade for Castillo or Cease, and until Burns signs with somebody else, technically we're still in that running too until somebody says otherwise.
Are you afraid that the Yankees are gonna snag him?
No, I think the Fried money pretty much guarantees Burns is not in the. I don't see him putting out 8-year deals to Burns and Fried, eating up like $500 million. That's.
Now let me ask you this: what are your thoughts about the Christian Walker deal? Because I didn't see that coming.
I mean, I knew he was going. Are you just saying you didn't see the Astros being the ones to sign him?
I didn't see the Astros taking him. That sort of surprised me.
Well, what did you think that after they traded Tucker that they were in complete rebuild mode? Because to me, it looked like they were kind of
absolutely.
I think they're in retool mode, which is not quite rebuild. Because I mean, Paredes isn't a bad addition. That's a starting third baseman for you. And now you got Walker on the other corner. Yeah, you lose Tucker, but you're getting some prospects back for that. I think they're just moving stuff around. I mean, until the Astros are not perennially flirting with the ALCS like they have been for like 8 straight years, then I don't think you can sit there and go, "What the hell are you thinking doing that?" You know what I mean? Like until.
No, I'm not saying that that's a bad thing. I just didn't see that coming.
Yeah,
I saw them trying to go after somebody else over at first base. But I didn't see Walker.
But you were thinking they were in
the Christian Walker wasn't in my bingo cards.
But you were thinking they were in rebuild mode, not necessarily just kind of move pieces around, maybe improve the team.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I think it's a retool, not
Correct.
a rebuild. Because again, they're not in so much trouble where they need to rebuild like from scratch. You know, I think they're just. Go ahead.
No, I was going to say that I still think that I know that they had a bad year last year. I'm not writing off the Texas Rangers next year when everybody's healthy.
Oh, yeah.
And the Seattle Mariners, I still think, are a contender.
Yep. Hey, in your division, the Nationals, if they signed like Pete Alonso or something, which isn't crazy to say, because I've heard that they're willing to maybe go big in on one big bat. But they're kind of entering that window of
new chapter.
What's the word I'm looking for? Contention. You know, of being a contending team. But again, with the Mets now, like just going crazy with the additions of the payroll, like doesn't seem to ever have an end. The Phillies, while I know you're not happy with where things are at the moment, they're still going to be a playoff contending team at worst, I would assume. And then the Braves.
I don't know.
It's just going to be tough. Yeah, I mean, if there's no wild card coming out of the Central, you still have in the West, you've got the Dodgers, obviously, but the Giants and the Diamondbacks, you got to think at least one, and the Padres. How am I leaving them out? I mean, you got to think out of those 3 teams, you got one wild card there. Which means,
the Diamondbacks took a step back by losing Christian Walker. Yeah, sure, they still have Ketel Marte, they still have Corbin Carroll.
Yeah,
but but that is a loss for them.
That's a loss.
It is.
But at the same time, the AG is. I think they picked the right time to trade him. I think
Yeah, I do too.
I
do too.
Any longer, you're not getting a whole lot back, and you got a good run with them.
So my final question to you, because I don't want to keep you on, because I know that it's I don't want this to keep dragging on, but I do want to ask you, if you were to give a letter grade, I have to put you on the spot. Okay, if you were to give a letter grade to your Baltimore Orioles right now with how the winter meetings have gone and how they've assessed free agency, what letter grade would you give them and why?
I'd rather go by every acquisition we've made and give each individual letter grade. Maybe if I did that, I can then calculate an overall score for you. Can I do that?
Gotcha. That's fine. Yes.
All right. So Tyler O'Neill, yes, I think Tyler O'Neill's a solid B addition. Like, I know what his negative characteristics are, particularly the injury record. But for a guy that you can sign for 3 years, where after year 1 it could be an opt-out, for a guy that hit 30 home runs and slugged 850 plus last year, and you need a right-handed outfielder bat. I mean, the only other two guys that have 30 plus homers, hits from the right side, or at least switch hits, is Teoscar and Tony. And they're going to ask for more years than 3, and they're going to ask for more of an annual salary than 17 and a half or whatever it is. So I just think, and plus the biggest thing is Heston Kjerstad. If he's still with us, if he's not traded away to help get this, ace arm we're trying to trade for, then with O'Neill as the righty and Kjerstad as a lefty, if he got somebody like a Teoscar, you would basically feel obligated to play him every day. Whereas with Tyler O'Neill, I think it's going to be cool that Heston Kjerstad against right-handed pitching gets a few starts and O'Neill sits and comes on the pinch hit to turn around if the lefty comes out in the bullpen. You know what I mean? So I'm not a straight platoon. Yes. Not a straight platoon. I think O'Neill will start against righties, plenty. But by getting a guy like that, kind of a tier below Santander, whatever. So that's my explanation. I give that a B. All right. Gary Sanchez, backup catcher. That is like a D minus. I don't know why. I don't know why we needed to spend 8.5. It's just the economics. $8.5 million for a backup catcher. I just don't think we needed to spend that much for a position where if Adley Rutschman is playing like he should, then the other guy is he's playing once or twice a week. I just think you could have got a guy for like $3 million and moved that extra $5.5 million towards something else. So that's a D minus. What's the next one? Sagano, I think that's like an A minus, and it could wind up being an A plus. Honestly,
really,
1 year for a guy who's got a career ERA under 2.5. I know it's Japan, but I mean the guy's been dominant over there for 12 years. And if you look at sort of his evolution, yeah, he threw a lot harder when he was younger, but he's learned how to adapt. He's one of those pitchers that can pitch into his late 30s because he goes from just being a guy that overpowers you to a guy that, kind of outsmarts you. And he's got pinpoint control. His command is fantastic. So
yes. The
only thing I'm worried about is, again, he doesn't throw hard. So if he doesn't full hitters, he's gonna get hit around. So it's a boomer bust kind of a signing, but I think the ceiling for this is so good for a 1 year commitment. I think that's a great signing. And again, we're talking about the back part of our rotation. We're not looking at him as a guy that's trying to give us 200 innings and be in the top of the rotation. So yeah, I love that signing. So overall, those are our 3 major acquisitions, right? Who else am I thinking? Or who else am I omitting? Anybody? So you're looking at a B, an A minus,
yes,
and a D minus. But the backup catcher.
You got Tyler O'Neill.
I think overall it's like a B minus. It's a B minus. But it's all going to depend what the final grade is with trying to get that frontline starter. If we get the frontline starter, if his name is Castillo or Cease or somehow Burns or something like Sasaki out of nowhere or whatever, as long as we get one of those dudes, then I can bump it up to like a B plus A minus because we've met all the areas we were trying to meet.
Is Anthony Santander's Orioles career done for now?
It would seem that way after signing Tyler O'Neill, but there is a situation where we could re-sign him, and that's if we were to trade said Mullins. If you trade Mullins, you can move Cowser to center field, and then Tony could play a corner again. If the market isn't really paying Tony what he wants, if we can bring him back and not have to commit to like a 5-year deal, if we can make it like 3, I think we could do it. But I would say the percentages of all this happening are like 5%. Like 3 different things that have to happen.
Gotcha.
I'm just pointing out the one way it could happen, I guess, but it's probably
yes.
Slim.
Yes. And do you trust Brandon Hyde moving forward?
Oh, man. God, dude.
Good question.
Well, it's just tough, man, because I want to be supportive of a guy that has averaged 96 wins over the past 2 years for a team that was like the laughing stock of the league up until that time. I mean, it's been an amazing turnaround, and I give every credit in the world to Hyde for being the clubhouse leader. But I just question his ability as a tactician, as a in-game manager, especially come postseason time. I mean, after getting swept by the Rangers in the postseason in 2023, my whole 2024 mission statement was, Brandon Hyde, you have to make some kind of postseason mark this time. You know, like we were already counting on we're getting back to the postseason. If we don't get back, you're probably already on the hot seat. But you're on the hot seat if you can't. If you can't, like, go out and improve on what happened last year. And he didn't. In fact, it was worse. We played 2 games. We scored 1 run. And we only gave up 3. Yep. We lost a 1-0 and a 2-1 game. And we're out of the playoffs.
Yep.
On day 2.
Yep.
It can't happen anymore. Yep. So, no, do I trust Brandon Hyde to lead this team back to somewhere around 100 wins again, as long as the offense can get that philosophy back into a healthy spot? Yes, I think he could be in charge, and we'll get back to the playoffs, possibly win the division. Do I trust him once we get to the postseason? No, because why? How could I? I want to root for the guy, but man, if it's a third straight postseason and if it's like these first 2, that's it for me with Brandon Hyde. I'm sorry, Brandon, but eventually you got to say thank you for getting us to this level. You got us up to this level. Thank you so much. But man, we want to get all the way to the end of the finish line, and we need somebody else to help us do that. Thank you for your contribution. And I've said this before. If the Orioles, if Brandon Hyde were fired like today, if the Orioles were to win a World Series over like the next 3 or 4 years, I would still give Brandon Hyde like a third of the credit for that World Series, just for helping get the team to where it is.
That's like giving Doug Collins credit for Michael Jordan and that Chicago Bulls dynasty, because Doug Collins was at the very beginning of Michael Jordan's career during those like 9-10 years. And then when they had that dynasty with Phil Jackson, everybody remembers Rodman, of course, and Pippen.
Yeah.
But
Paxton.
I think Doug Collins gets a little bit of credit. And it's the same sort of thing from that sort of perspective. So.
Yeah, it's just as an Orioles fan, for the fan community out there, everybody's going to be on pins and needles. If we make it to the playoffs again next year, and it'll be a huge disappointment if we wouldn't. But assuming that we do, there's not going to be a single Orioles fan out there feeling optimistic about making a dent in the playoffs until we win one frickin' game. Yeah. We haven't just not won a series. We haven't won a game in these 2 years in the playoffs. I mean, it's killing me, man.
I understand.
And the buck stops with Hyde for me. The buck stops with Hyde for me, and that there's something wrong with the preparation. There's something wrong with the speech or whatever, or something that's going on, because we had it both ways. 2 years ago, we had the bye. We had a week to prepare. Didn't matter. And then this last one, we go straight in. I'm thinking, well, maybe that'll make a difference. Maybe our bats went cold because we had too much time off. It didn't make a difference. So we've had 2 different ways of showing some kind of positive.
Yep.
Yeah. And neither way has worked out. So yeah, I'm very much. Somebody's asking in chat who's Hyde's replacement, in my opinion. I don't really have like a list in my mind. I don't. But
that was going to be my next question.
I mean, I'll say this: it's got to be somebody with successful playoff managing experience. I don't know if Bruce Bochy can get pried away one more time for another team, or somebody like that. But yeah, that, and it's going to also be a big deal. Sorry, what'd you say?
Bring Buck back.
Bring
Buck back.
I think another major factor is we got a new bench coach now, Chirinos. There's a lot of new coaches around Hyde now, and how they all gel in the clubhouse. We've got this reputation for having a very positive, get along, no prima donna kind of a clubhouse. Just a lot of guys who support each other, who've been there kind of with each other. Because if you look at our team, dude, everybody is a part of our farm system. It's crazy. Yes. Like if you go to one of those baseball pages and you see like the names and then like team they started with, and you look at a team like the Yankees and there might be like 2 OG Yankees in the lineup. You look at the Orioles, it's all Orioles. Like these guys have all been playing together, all coming up through the system together. It's a really tight-knit group there.
Yep, it is. It is a very tight-knit.
I hope Tyler O'Neill can. I think Tyler O'Neill might be able to give us a little swagger that we were sort of missing last year. In 2023, we had swagger. I'm telling you, we took the extra base, and Tyler O'Neill with those big guns of his. I know that's the reason why he can't stay healthy, because he lifts too much. He's too jacked. But, when you got Tyler up there, O'Neill up there in some spots, and he's cranking out 450-foot bombs, and he's chugging around the bases with those giant biceps, I'm telling you, that's going to get the team pumped.
Baltimore's going to love him.
I hope so. I hope he stays healthy enough to play 120 games or whatever.
Yeah, I agree. Well, this was great. It feels nice to actually visit an old friend, and baseball is always going to be my first love.
Yeah, and, JJ, you want to drop your info into the chat here? Oh, wait a minute, my cursor's working.
Sure,
I can.
Absolutely.
You got it?
Absolutely.
Oh, by the way, I have to totally thank somebody, but I guess I should sort of keep it anonymous. And actually, there's somebody who watches my other channel, but this person gave me the ultimate hookup. Let's just say, ads on YouTube for me are no longer a problem. You might see a little word up here in the corner that used to say YouTube. Yes.
That's great.
Yes.
Very nice.
Get rid of those ads.
Pretty. Yes. It's clutch.
Very clutch.
Very clutch. Yes.
So, folks, for the 4 people left, please, if you haven't already, go to JJ's channel, sub it up, and then keep a lookout. He does great play-by-play for several different sports, mostly Philly Central stuff. But, hey, it's our neighbors to the north, and unless we're playing head-to-head, no reason to not go by even Philly town.
I'm sure that the Raven fans are probably not happy with us. But like, hey man, it is what it is. Hopefully we see you guys in the bowl. Hopefully y'all get past Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. But we'll hopefully see you there. But hey, BW, always great to talk to you, man. And again, like baseball to me is always going to be like my first love. It's always going to be a friend of mine that is sort of like just a soundtrack, soundtracks of the summer, and it's always going to be something that I always come back to. But I'd be lying to you if I said, I'm really happy and I'm really, really proud of this Phillies team. I'm really not. But it's good that we get a break from everything.
Can I throw in one more question here on you, JJ? Because I feel like with the way you're talking about the team, that this is a question that should be raised. Is there an acquisition? Is there an acquisition they can make in this offseason that would get you pumped and make you feel better? Like a realistic,
not really.
A realistic acquisition? No, really.
Even if they go after a guy like Cody Bellinger,
Bellinger
still
just
not
went
happy
to the Yankees
because
he just got moved.
What'd you say?
Bellinger just got moved. He's not moving.
Oh, well, I missed that.
He's on the Yankees.
Well, yes, I definitely missed that. Well, even if we go after an Anthony Santander,
Yeah,
or whoever it is, I'm still not satisfied because we brought back the rest of the coaching staff.
yeah.
And the Phillies had a downfall last year, and their biggest downfall was that they just could not play small ball.
That's us
And
too.
for some reason, the coaching staff didn't preach that. They really didn't. You could really just tell from the games, if you were watching them, that the Phillies were just trying to hack at everything, like they were just trying to hit home runs all the time. And that's not how the game works.
Hey, Charm City
If you're going to
Chat.
swing for the ball
Charm
all
City
the time,
Chat. Are you listening to JJ here? Does this sound familiar? Guys
Yeah.
trying to not play fundamental baseball and trying to swing for the fences and any of this ring a bell? Yeah, we got the same thing going on here.
I understand.
It's got to be
So,
something
I mean,
that tide water. There's something in the water between Philly and Baltimore. We got to test the water. Something's going on there.
We do. Actually, you know what? You know what signing would get me? You know what signing would actually get me feeling a little bit better?
Chaos.
And I don't know if they're gonna Jerks and Profar.
Profar.
I want baseball players on my team.
I had
do.
Profar on my
I want
list.
legit baseball players, guys that can just put the ball in play and get on base.
380 on base
That's what I
percentage
want.
last year. 380.
Yep.
But you also have to be honest and say you're looking at a guy who's been in the league now for a decade, and last year was the only year where he was anywhere near close to being as good as he was. And you have to ask yourself the question, is this a one-year wonder, which we've seen before, which means don't go near him, or does this mean that some mechanic, something he unlocked has now given us the real Jerks and Profar, and he's got a solid 4 or 5 productive years left in him? And if that's the case, then yeah, that's the guy you want to have. Switch hitter, got some pop, hits for average, on base 380. He's a utility. He can play infield if you need him to.
Yes.
Absolutely. There's a lot of things
don't think that that's going to happen now, though.
Yeah.
Now that we have Max Kepler. And I don't like the Max Kepler signing because, A, Max Kepler, his stats have gone down over the years, and he doesn't hit for average.
And he doesn't hit lefties
fits
at all,
right
right?
into, I hate to say this, but he fits perfectly into what the Phillies are trying to do, and I don't like it. Playing for the fences.
So you're acknowledging the Phillies have got a plan, and they're adding to the plan right on schedule, but you just hate the plan. The plan sucks.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, and you know what Dombrowski's doing? Dombrowski is bringing in guys that he's been wanting to target for like years and years, and that's not the right way to go about it either. Because if that's like what you want to do, then we're just getting older players who are out of their prime and guys that just don't like fit the shoe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like Cinderella's shoe. You gotta find the match to the golden slippers or like whatever it is.
Yeah.
And none of these things have been matched. It's just like a jigsaw puzzle, and they're just continuing to scramble this up and make a mess out of it. That's really how I feel.
Ugh, man. So you're saying you gotta.
I'm usually an optimist, man. I really am. I'm usually an optimist, but I can't stand that they brought back the entire coaching staff, and with the way that things ended, they failed me. They really did fail miserably. They did not make any adjustments, and they beat themselves up.
Yeah.
And I honestly think that in some ways, I look back at that Arizona series now, and I'm like, damn, we literally had it right there. And we shot ourselves in the foot.
All right,
and that's gonna continue to haunt me.
One more question / comment on all this, JJ. I promise.
Go for it. Go for it.
March 27th or whatever opening day is. Your Phillies are playing who? I don't know. You know?
The Braves.
The Braves.
I think.
All right. Zach Wheeler is coming out of the bullpen. That crisp March air is hitting you. You feel baseball coming back. You're not telling me on opening day you're not feeling that eternal optimism that your Phillies have a chance? And come on, man.
I mean, I'm going to be looking forward to seeing Zach Wheeler out there on the mound and seeing the bank the way that it is, but I'm not going to Zach Wheeler pitches a gem. I'll be happy about that, and I'll wait and see what happens. But see, here's the other thing too, because the city feeds off of vibes, okay? And I know that you're not going to like this answer, but the other question is, did we win a Super Bowl? Are the Sixers doing really good now? Because if those outside factors add up to it, then you know what? I got to ride the wave.
Yeah. See, it's Baltimore people don't have the. I mean, we don't. Unless you count DC teams as like your local. You've only got the NFL and the baseball. You don't. You can't fall back on a hockey team picking up the slack.
I know. I get it. But in all seriousness, dude, I mean, like the vibes do play a part in it. Like I remember, like when the Cleveland Cavaliers won the championship, the Guardians at the time that they were the Indians, they won 18 games in a row or something like that. And it was just so weird. Like that whole timing of just being a Cleveland fan was actually really fun for those people because they got to see, the Cavaliers in the finals and win the whole thing, which hadn't been done in so many freaking years.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden the Indians are hot at the time. Like that was really cool, and I don't think that was just a coincidence. I think that the city really felt like
it almost made the people that live there almost forget that they lived in Cleveland. Like, wow.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. That's true.
It's like I'm living in Beverly Hills. I tell you what.
That's right.
Suddenly, this Lake Erie breeze don't feel so bad.
That's right. Exactly. So, but of course, I'll be happy to see Zach Wheeler out there. Of course, I'll be happy to see the bang. There's nothing more scenic in Philadelphia than going to the ballpark on opening day, and it's Citizens Bank Park in the sunshine. It is the best feeling. It really is.
I thought you were going to say Kensington Avenue at around 6 p.m. on a Wednesday.
Well, I mean, I'm sure that's great too. But
that's not the best.
I'm just saying, like, I'm always going to have. My heart's always going to be there for the Phillies. It's always, of course, I'm going to watch opening day, and I'm going to be rooting for them this year. But I'm in a weird spot with them, man. Like I can't get behind what they've done this off season, and I'm hoping that they. I'm usually the optimist, man. Like I'm usually the guy that's like that rides the rah, like all those things. But they broke me at the end of last year.
Wow.
And I'm just I really hope that they get me back. I really do. Obviously, I'm going to support them, through thick and thin. But they really, really got me down after last year. You got
me feeling like I should be more down on my team than I am. Should I be? I don't know. We didn't exactly make a positive step last year.
See, but see, the thing is that even like imagine if your team was like 2 games away from going to the World Series, and you missed that window, and then the next year after that, you start off really strong, and you can't even get out of the first round.
Mm-hmm. Again,
we how
many wins total between the last 2 seasons? Because we've got 96 per year. We got 101 and 91. So 192 wins at the past two
I'm not saying
seasons.
that you guys have suffered. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that it's equally as heartbreaking because, like, you were, like, right there. And it's just
I would
like,
rather be you and get a round or two deep and then lose than fucking, sorry for the F-bomb, than fucking not win a single playoff game both times with averaging 96
But then you would
wins.
get tired of being stuck. And then you're going to be like, well, damn, I'm happy that we made it this far, but I want more. We got to get to the finish line. You said it yourself.
This is our first back-to-back playoff appearance since the 90s, man. I mean,
okay.
We have waited enough, and you're telling me we get in and we finally got a back-to-back caliber team and we can't win one goddamn game? That's what's driving us nuts.
Well, that's crazy. But, like, we were so close to getting to the World Series. The World Series.
I know.
And yet we just could not get the job done. We blew a 2-0 lead. We were up 10-2. We won the second game 10-2, and Arizona wasn't even better than us, and we let them win. And we shot ourselves in the foot. We had a golden opportunity, W, and we just didn't even do it. Like, we could have beaten the Rangers. We really could have. Like, that's going to go down as one of, like, the worst tragedies in Philadelphia. Along with Joe Carter's home run, along with Kawhi's shot from Toronto, like, all that stuff is going to be there. But them losing to the Diamond and blowing a 2-0 lead. I mean, come on. Like, the road was right there, and now we're in a dogfight. And this whole era, which was supposed to be a golden era of Philly sports, looks like it's coming to an end, man. I hate being in this boat. I hate being negative, and I hate feeling, like, ugh. But until they win at the right times, and until they just get back clear as it is, it's a failure of a season. If they don't get out of the first round, it's a failure of a season. They make it past the first round. Is it a successful season? I guess by default, but this team was supposed. They promised us a World Series ring.
You were promised a World Series.
We were.
Well, then I would be mad. I would demand retribution. You promised me a World. Who promises their fans a World Series? All you can do at best case scenario, you meet expectations. Thank you for doing what you said you'd do. Otherwise, yeah, you got everybody mad at you and blaming you for a promise not kept. You can't promise that.
I can't be mad at Dombrowski for them, like, not making it, after they were being up 2-0. And that was on the players. That was on the coaching staff. But it's clear, like, that they're not exceeding expectations. I'm sure that if the shoes, like, that I know that you understand, like, where I'm coming from. Like, just being, like, it was literally right there. It was right there for you to just take, and you just blew it away. You just blew it away.
If you had, like, a Steve Bartman to screw it up for you, then it wouldn't be as bad. You can blame.
I'm not saying that wouldn't be as bad either. 2 wrongs don't make a right. 2 wrongs don't make a right. Of course that would be bad. Of course losing, like, when Joe Carter hits, like, that walk-off grand slam.
Yeah.
I didn't obviously get to see it because I was in the I don't even know if I was in the womb at the time, but like, those are heartbreakers.
Sure.
Those are like those are, like, legitimate heartbreakers. But this is, like, the closest thing that I probably got to see to a heartbreaker besides the quadruple doink that Kawhi did to R6. Like, that again, like they literally had it. They had it in the bag, and they just literally shot themselves in the foot. Arizona was not the better team that year. They were not the better team. The Phillies literally blew it. Like they go to a bullpen game in Game 5, and they can't go to Christopher Sanchez for like 5-6 innings. They lost that game.
Yeah,
and they had it.
Yeah,
they had it.
You are making me feel so much better about my Orioles right now.
I'm so happy I'm making you feel better about your Baltimore.
I had
Orioles.
no idea Philly fans were this distraught.
Yeah. We love our team, man. And we know that you guys like absolutely like love your team too. And I know that you guys would love to be in this position, but like again, just
Did I lose you? I might have lost JJ. Something got just
like your analogy before about the ice cream something. And I think that I do believe that the Phillies peaked too soon. I do, because I think that them having that magical run in 2022, really as beautiful as that was, I will never, ever blame them for losing in the World Series because the Astros were the better team, but them just shooting themselves in the foot the next year and not being able to make it out of the first round this year, it daunts on you, man.
What
it
happens?
Does.
But how do you feel in just a season where you finish like 75 and 87 or whatever? Like, do you ever like just? I mean, aren't you happy to have a good team, a competitive team, and like, what do you do in those years where you're not even in the hunt? Because you've had a couple of those in your lifetime.
Oh, like
right?
the Gabe Kapler years? Oh man, I don't miss those days. I don't miss those dogs.
But I mean, are those years harder to deal with than a year where you're so close to a World Series, like you say? Like, what's more difficult to swallow?
It depends on the expectation. Those Phillies teams didn't have their expectations were to go to the playoffs, and they failed all those times. However, not going to the playoffs, as annoying as that is, I don't think that there's a worse feeling in the world like there's the greatest feeling is like when you do exceed expectations, like during that 2022 season. They did. They literally exceeded so many expectations that year. And the regular season wasn't all dandy. Like, the regular season started off bad. They got hot in May, and they played pretty good in June. They did. They had a very hot June. And then August comes and September comes, and we thought that they were going to collapse, and they almost did. And then by the skin of their teeth, they ended up getting into the dance. And then they ended up getting very hot. And they played really, really well, and that was fun. That's going to be something that I always remember and I will always cherish for the rest of my life. That whole run of making it to the playoffs and going to the stadium feeling like I was at a rock concert, because that's how deafening it was over there. And it was just football, types of sellouts every single night, and just seeing that roar of fans there, it made me cry a little bit, and it made me feel like that we were back in the 08-09 playoffs. And that was awesome.
I cried due to a lack of roar from this past postseason. 2 home games, 1 run. And no reason for us at any point in either game to really get all that excited, because we knew after Burns pitched his ass off and we'd lose 1-0, that in the next game, as soon as that first run scored for Kansas City, it was over. It was over. We knew. Where there was no excitement. There was no electricity. I mean, I wasn't there, but you felt it through the screen. Hey, man, I know you got to go. I got to go now, too.
I know. I'm reading chat, and Scott's like, damn, JJ, I'm having flashbacks on the pain. He gets it, man. Like, I understand like where you're coming from. I really do. You might be like, oh, JJ's not really like one to talk. I hate being at the bottom. For being at the bottom for so long and not having a direction, I can't imagine the pain that you're going to. I'm just saying that at the end of the day, any way you look at it, like when you look at these two franchises, it's pain. The Yankees have never had to deal with this. Okay, like the St. Louis Cardinals, they've never really had to deal with this either. So it's just like these teams that have the blue collar mentality, chip on their shoulder, and that want the team to succeed. Those are the people that deserve to have this. Those are the people that deserve to see the success. And for those people that were promised, a team that would be contending and going to a World Series, the Phillies on paper, I'll tell you this, they did have that team in 2022 and 2023. Last year, though, that ship sank by the middle of August, and they did not go after anybody at the deadline. They had a chance to try to make themselves better, and they didn't do it. And this year, during the offseason, they had a chance, to start over with the coaching staff and to try to clean house. They didn't do it.
Yeah.
And so I hope that I hope to God that they shut me up this year. I do. I'm praying that this team succeeds.
That's the beauty of being a little pessimistic about your team, and that if you're wrong, you get to celebrate being wrong by having success. But if you're right,
yes.
Yeah, so that's why I don't.
Yes.
I got to be honest, JJ. I think you're at least being, you're analytical about why you feel your pessimism versus just. I think there's a lot of fans out there who are just, they're just like auto preset for pessimism because they want that cake and eat it too situation where they can shit on their team and like, well, if they wind up being shitty, I've been saying it all along. But then if they win something, you get to celebrate, and no one's going to sit around. But you said, who cares at that point? Everybody's celebrating, and you get to share in that celebration. And I think that's BS, man.
I've admitted that I was – no, exactly. But, like, I've admitted that I was wrong about Saquon Barkley. I've admitted that I was wrong. I actually admitted I was wrong about Bryce Harper. I did not think that Bryce Harper was going to be a good signing for the Phillies. And I was totally 1,000% wrong about that. I love Bryce Harper so much. Bryce Harper, talk about the injuries, talk about all that stuff. But man, he lays his blood and tears out there. He really does. And I love Bryce Harper, and the fan base, they will always love Bryce Harper for who he is because he puts his blood, sweat, and tears out there, man.
Yeah,
and that's what you want.
Yeah, I watched him in his early years with the Nats when I was living in D.C. Just he's not gonna be. He's one of those polarizing guys where you either see what his competitive nature does positively for you, but then other people look at him as like they rub them the wrong way, and I can identify with that because I feel like I'm the kind of person that either people really see something good in or really annoy the shit out of them. I don't really run into many people.
Gene Segura.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say Gene Segura is gonna always be one of those guys where he had a polarizing career with the Phillies, but man, oh man, did he hustle. Mm-hmm. And everybody's always going to remember just the times that he went to war for the Phillies. Aaron Rowan, the broken nose, for who my teammate, for what to win. Those are the types of guys that we all love in Philadelphia because they have that mentality. I'm going to put everything out there on the field, and those are the things that we love. I like Kyle Schwarber for that too.
I like that receiver for the Eagles back in '78 that Mark Wahlberg played in a movie or whatever. What was that guy?
Oh, man. Oh, wow.
I'm just
damn.
What?
Damn, I forgot about that.
And don't forget about that.
Totally forgot about that.
That was when your Eagles were just signing
I'm
locals.
so caught up in this new age, man. so caught up in this new age with this team.
Yeah.
So I get it. Everybody's talking about A.J. Brown and all these other people, and it's like, well, there's Terrell, and then there's, so many other guys that just like, wow, I forgot about that team because I'm so dialed in now. And this Eagles team is shutting me up. I'll tell you that too. I did not think that this Eagles team would actually be this good and winning the way that they're winning. It's insane. So, I call a spade a spade. If I'm right, I'm right. But if I'm wrong, I tell the people like it is, and I say, hey, man, I was wrong. I do. I hold myself accountable for that. So if the Phillies shut me up this year,
Yeah.
I'll tell you this. Last thing, and then I know that you have to go. Last thing. Okay. If the Phillies make it to the NLCS this year, okay, you heard it right over here. You heard it right over here. I will personally wear a Baltimore Orioles uniform. I don't know which player yet. You can choose, but I will wear a Baltimore Orioles uniform for the 2026.
For what, one game, or what are we talking about?
For the whole entire year.
Just an Orioles uniform on your channel. All right. Well, I'll tell you this: it all depends on where the Dodgers are in the playoff bracket. If you're on the other side of the bracket, I can totally see you having a chance to get to the NLCS. If you're in the same bracket as the Dodgers before you can get to the NLCS, then you're probably not getting to the NLCS. Like, you don't even have a chance. Unless the Dodgers.
I don't think we're getting past the Braves. I don't think we're getting past the Braves or even the Padres.
During the season, I might begin to agree with you, but at this stage right now, I know for a fact you're not. No, the Dodgers are just. It's ridiculous. It's so plumb ridiculous, and Ohtani's going to be pitching now too. I mean, it's just ridiculous.
They have Tyler Glass now. Yeah, I know.
I can't imagine having a team like. I mean, it's got to feel something like the late '90s, early 2000 Yankees, as far as being in the American League and just wondering when your team's even going to have a chance, because this stupid team is just not going anywhere for a while. I mean, this Dodger team, if you're in the National League, man, I mean, everybody's got to put their target on their back. Take those Dodgers down. I don't like the Dodgers, man. I rooted for them against the Yankees in the World Series because that's the only scenario where I'm rooting for the Dodgers. If they're playing the team I hate the most, the Yankees.
I can't stand any of those juggernauts.
But yeah,
can't stand any of those teams.
With the way they deferred all the money and are able to just basically grow this super team and cheat the tax code and all that stuff. Screw you, LA.
I know.
I hope you get knocked out early.
Yes, I hope so too. I agree. You know? I mean,
give someone. It's like that line from Young Frankenstein. Give someone else a chance. Igor talking about being in the bathroom for too long.
But BW, the Dodgers have only won one World Series over the last 40 years. Aw, like isn't that sad? Isn't that really sad?
I think I can name a lot more sad. You know what's sad is that this stream is going to end in the next 15 seconds. That's what's sad.
All right, I will talk to you later.
Thanks so much, JJ. You have yourself a happy holiday. I'm not sure which one it is, but they're both kind of happening at the same time.
Hanukkah.
Yeah, Hanukkah begins on Christmas Eve, right? Or am I wrong about that?
Yes. So this year it actually does coincide.
Yeah, so it's all happening this year. We're all together. Jews and Christians, join up. We are.
Yes, sir.
We're all together.
Don't forget about Kwanzaa. Kwanzaa too.
Kwanzaa and any Wiccans in the audience tonight. Anybody?
We have 5 people. What are the odds?
Why haven't I can't even get my controller. Where's my controller? Okay, I'm all right, JJ. Thanks so much. I'm signing off. Everybody, check out our channel, and we'll talk soon. Okay, buddy.
Absolutely. Right. Take it easy. Pleasure.
Bye-bye. All right, folks. That was a long conversation, but an enjoyable one with JJ from Play by Play with JJ Sports channel. do check him out if you haven't done so already. That's going to do it for me, folks. Again, this is probably going to be the last retro game broadcast. I think in a couple of weeks, I'm just going to do a standard sort of podcast with whatever the latest Orioles news is being sort of the headline on the thumbnail. Because, again, I put out a impromptu Sagano signing video like minutes after seeing a tweet without any preparation, and that did way better than these planned like event get-togethers have been doing. So why am I explaining this to 3 people? I don't know, but that's the deal. I think we're gonna call this an experiment that didn't quite work in terms of watching retro games together. But I did enjoy the ones that we did, and maybe we'll do it again sometime. Until then, I'm going to have to close my laptop for a sec. Because once again, my cursor is out of my hands. And yeah, that's going to do it. Right. If I don't hear from you, if we're not in communication in the next week or whatever, I hope you have a wonderful holiday and a safe and happy holiday with your loved ones. Okay? This has been BW, the BirdWatcher, and I'll chirp at you later. Take care, everybody. Good night.